Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the One Shot Podcast is brought to you by tryhavocenergy.com. As of recently, we just released our newest flavor, Cherry Berry Blast. Make sure you guys head on over to tryhavocenergy.com. Use code CBB25 for 25% off. Now, let's get into the episode. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy RanksHTX, the host with the absolute most. You guys have seen my face more than enough times to know who I am, but today, got an unfamiliar face, all right? Clean ass setup. You know what I'm saying? He got 2 tubs. My boy be lifting. Ain't nothing else to say. He got a short mic. He be getting to the money. My boy Sid. Sid, how we doing today, man?
Yo, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you having me on.
For sure, man. So, so for those listening at home that are like, hey, I don't know who this Sid guy is. Hey, trust me. Hey, you about to find out. How about you tell the listeners and the viewers, because the video version's on Spotify and on YouTube. Tell us, who is Sid today?
And today, I would say full-time teacher, part-time content creator, and yeah, I would say that's who describes me today. Full-time teacher at an alternative school and part-time content creator, aspiring full-time content creator. So,
the most interesting thing that I hope you guys heard was he is a teacher. He is a teacher. You say you're a teacher at an alternative school. I just butchered that word entirely. Alternative school, correct?
Yes, correct. That is correct.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what an alternative school is, it's essentially it's like a second chance. If a kid gets kicked out of their old school for anything like drugs, fighting, guns, knives, whatever it is, they get expelled for. They get sent to our school. We have an interview with them, and we can only have, or my class can only have 11 kids in the room total. So we can only have 11. So if we get capped out of at 11, someone has to get kicked out of my school in order for a new kid to come in. And the reason being is, like, in a public school, there could be like 30 kids in a class. If you have 30 of these kids in a class, it's more of a zoo than what it already is. So, I mean, it wouldn't work, especially with the class size, the amount of staff that we have, it just wouldn't work. So.
Yeah, you would need club bouncers in there, man. You would
need a club bounce for just about every single one of them kids. I'm telling you.
Boy, I tell you, man. Hey, so for another question, how long have you been teaching, like, in total?
This is my 5th year, so I'm 26, and the cool thing about it is I actually finessed in college. I did my student teaching, which is supposed to be like through the college, and you have to do it for free. So essentially, it's like a full semester of taking someone's job and not getting paid for it. I finessed because during that summer when I graduated with my bachelor's, the head guy that used to be my principal told me that there was an opening at that job. It was the first year that they were even starting as a school, and he was like, hey, if you want to stop in for an interview, go ahead. And I was like, well, I don't have my teaching degree yet. He's like, don't worry about it, I'll talk to your college. So I was like, fuck it, bet. You know what I mean? So I essentially, my first year, got paid to student teach at the job that I'm currently at, which was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, yep.
Nice. Okay. So the question is, what would you say came first? Was it, how do I say this? Were you more of like creating content on the side first, and then you sort of were still in college, and then you decided to get into teaching, or were you teaching first, and then you sort of decided to expand upon that hobby when it within content creation? Essentially, I'm asking which one came first, teaching or content creation.
So the content definitely came first. I started making content, man. I started making content back in like 2016, but it wasn't anything with the face cam. It was just solely, I bought a Elgato HD. I think it was just an Elgato HD at the time. And I hooked it up to my laptop, which was a piece of shit at the time. And I just recorded free-for-alls on Modern Warfare 2. I was playing Modern Warfare 2 in 2016.
Okay.
And I was just recording montages, trick shotting videos, stuff of that sort. Didn't post it anywhere, but just for the sole fact of, like, if I hit a clip, I had it, right? And I could store it on my laptop. And then I started making actual content first in college. I think it was my second year, so my sophomore year in college. Started making some YouTube videos. They were horrible videos. It was during Black Ops 4. But I wasn't posting to any sort of, like, it wasn't short form. It was just long form. And I think I only made like 5 total YouTube videos, but I was recording everything. Like, I was recording just pub games. I was recording 8s with my friends. Just I always had the record button going, whether my face cam was on or not. And then once, I want to say it was the year after COVID. So what, 2021?
2021, yeah.
Either 2021 or 2022, I started making short form. And luckily enough, it was my first ever TikTok popped off for like, I think it was like 1 million. Is what it
Whoa.
got to. It was a horrible video. It was just, it was uncut. It was literally me saying something along the lines of like, this is the crazy. I've been playing Call of Duty for 16 years, and this is the craziest hot mic I've ever received. It was an uncut clip of me just team wiping these kids and getting like a crazy hot mic. And overnight, it like blew up. And I was like, holy shit. Because that's like an instant dopamine rush from your first video. And so then that kind of like taught me a lesson, because over the course of like that week, I want to say I got up to like 70,000 or like followers on TikTok from one video. And I had friends that I was talking to like through TikTok, because I think I had made a couple like videos but then privated them because they didn't get any views, which is a horrible thing to do. Like, you just keep them up, because then you can go back and you can look at your progress and whatnot.
But I mean, it kind of looks cool, you know what I'm saying? It's like the first video, like 1 mil.
Yeah, it was the aesthetic of it. So
Yeah.
I had like friends, like not friends, but people that I would talk to like for advice and whatnot, and like coming up together. And I remember this one guy thought that because he saw my video, but then he saw my follower count, because we had similar follower counts before that. It was like 1,000, and like he had like 1,500. And he saw how many followers I had, and he texted me. He goes, "Funny that you bought followers." And I was like, "There's no way."
Wow.
I said, "There's no way you're gonna believe this, but I'm telling you, they're all from one video." And he's like, "No, there's no way." And I showed him like the the analytics of TikTok and whatnot, and you see how many followers you get from one video. And that's the reason why it blew up, is because at the end I had a call to action. I said, and like, follow for more or whatever. And it had so many followers from that one video that it just kept getting pushed to more For You pages. And it was wild. But then it kind of humbled me in a sense, because all the videos, probably 100 videos after that, because I posted every single day after that, the rest of the videos never surpassed like 20K, 30K.
Damn.
So it went from 1.2 million to like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 4,000. And it was like a series of events where I was like, fuck, this isn't going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. Yep. It kind of like, to the natural eye, it was like, you see this follower count, right? And nobody knows that it came from one video, but you see the recent videos and it's like 3,000, 4,000, and you have this follower count, and people are like, "Oh, dude fell off," or whatever, like whatever, you know what I mean? And it made it look like I bought the followers more than what it actually was, because of the fact that like, it sucked that it popped off for my first video. It was also a good thing, but you take what you can get. So then it took me a while to kind of have a video that did that again. And I think the first one that did it after that was where I got into like the voice trolling. So I got into voice trolling where I would just talk like a little kid, and I would just, one of my favorite things to do is just mess with people, right? And just be an absolute fool. I've been like that my whole life. Not to the point where they really get mad and get off, but like, because if I can sense that, then at the end I'll be like, dude, I was just fucking with you the whole time. But it's so funny to get a reaction out of people, especially if you know that you can push it further and further and further. So what I would do is I would make these horrible loadouts. It'd be like a kilo with like a grenade launcher and a sniper scope. And I would go up to these guys. They'd be like, "Hey, you want to try my loadout?" And I would talk like a kid. And they'd be like, "Sure, I'll try it, whatever." And they pick it up, and then I pick up their gun, and they're like, "What the fuck? Like, this is horrible." And I'd be like, "Yeah, you're good." And they'd be like, "Give me my gun back." And I'm like, "No, I'll try yours." And like, this honest back and forth, little like rant to each other, because he would want his gun back and I wouldn't give it to him, and it was just perfect content. So dude, I think
that is hilarious, bro. Why have I never thought of doing that? That is actually hilarious.
It was so fun at the time, because I knew all I had to do every single day to get a video was hop on and hope that someone had a good mic. Because if someone has a shit mic, then it's not going to get
It's terrible.
anywhere close to the views that it would if someone has a good mic.
Yeah, so somebody's in their living room, you know what I'm saying? They're cooking,
right, they're talking on it,
kids
they're
in the background.
Toaster. Yeah, you had to, which was a shitty part and a good part because I knew that I had content every day. But the shitty part was you had to rely on other people because of the content that I was trying to get. So if I got a lobby with no one talking, then it was chalked. I would leave the lobby and come back. Right. So I think that's the second time that it really started to pop off. And then I think from there, it just, I started to learn and grow. And then I started making whatever I wanted to make. But the trolley content was definitely, and it still is the most fun that I've had making videos. And I will go back to it once the new COD comes out, just because it's so easy for me to make. And it's something that I really do enjoy making.
Oh, and it's an if the new COD is good. We're hoping.
As long as it's better than the last one, man. As long as it's good, better than the last one.
We were talking about that outside of this recording. The main thing that we were saying is in terms of Call of Duties, we hope that, yes, it doesn't need to be the greatest COD of all time. We just hope it's better than what the fuck we had before. Now, at this point in time, all right, we don't really have a whole lot. We don't have anything, actually. If you get worse than this, you might as well just not even drop the game. Just take it back. Like on some Cyberpunk shit, like take it off the stores. Like we don't want to play it no more, bro.
No, I agree.
100%. So there was a question that was lingering in my head, right? That guy that you said that he messaged you and said something about how you bought followers, but then you showed him the analytics, right? So when you showed him the analytics and you showed how many subscribers, because that's one thing if anybody...
Just stop texting me completely.
I knew it. I knew that was going to happen.
He was just so upset that like... Because he had more followers than me, but it wasn't like anything like he had 1,500 and I had 1,000. So it was like, I don't know if it was an ego thing for him or if he like just never fucked with me in the first place. Because he had better, in my opinion, his videos were better than mine because of the fact that like, I feel like he knew how to edit and I was very, very new to Premiere Pro. And so I would ask him all these things like, what are you doing for color grading? And what are you like, how are you doing this? And I would ask him all these questions. And he would give me responses and whatnot. But as soon as like I showed him that video or like, you know, what he called me out essentially, and then I show him the video, he just stopped texting me completely, which is fine because I mean, it just shows.
Man, see, the reason why I ask is I'm like, bro, something tells me he's not going to respond, but I just want to hear you say it. Because what else is there to say? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is somebody who asks you for advice. So to some extent, he respects your work. But then you full on just make like you can't turn around and say, "Oh, I was just joking" with an accusation like that. Like that's an like you're an exposed or this relationship's over kind of question. You know what I'm saying?
It was mind blowing to me because I'm like, dude, how if you could buy 70,000 followers, people would fucking do that. Like just to get the 70,000 followers. I don't even know if you can do that on TikTok specifically. I know that people can buy followers on Instagram and whatnot, but like TikTok, I don't know if you can fucking do that.
And another thing with TikTok is, bro, you may have 70K followers, but there's also the likes too. You know what I'm saying? There's also the likes too, and realistically, it really doesn't mean shit. But that's why it's so crazy because I'm like, bro, that's like an ultimatum kind of question. Like, there's nothing good that's gonna come out of him saying that. So I'm like, either one, he's gonna just act like he's still gonna act like, oh, you're trolling or you photoshopped this or something, or two, he's not gonna say anything afterwards.
Yeah, there's no point with people like that. There's no point to even like, you know what I mean, like prove yourself in a way.
Exactly. So to anybody watching this, hey, just know if there's somebody who on every single one of your videos is talking shit, I guarantee you, all right, if you prove them wrong, it's not gonna fucking matter anyways. There's no point in proving them wrong because their whole gist is not to be proven right or proven wrong. They're just talking shit. Like that's really it.
They're just talking shit to talk shit.
Hell yeah.
Is whatever. You'll always have people doing that.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if you're not having it, well, hey, you ain't doing something right. I'm just gonna say that.
For sure, I agree with you completely.
So it's funny because there's another thing that I learned from the story you just mentioned as well. Because a lot of people always like that like fast, like quick, easy route to gain followers or to gain subscribers because it then equates to them either one, gaining money, or two, them being quote unquote famous to some extent. But you have literally showed within your experience how you had one video pop fuck off. Like I still don't have a video with 1 million. I still don't. I have a video with 500,000, you know what I'm saying? And I'm very happy for that, but it took a lot to get there. But he had 1 million on the first video, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was wild.
It's wild. So then he even said that because that was the first video and he didn't have that great of an understanding, there's still that learning curve regardless.
Yeah, 100%. I think the only benefit that came from that video is the fact that it gave me, and it's so, cliche to say, because you can't rely on external motivation to succeed. You gotta have, it's very obvious. Everybody knows this. But it did give me the motivation to post every single day, which I did. But even though I was posting every single day, I didn't see results until, day 100. Or whatever it was. It took a while for the next video to pop off and for me to start seeing some growth again, which kind of almost is like without having that video pop off, it's just like starting from square one. You know what I mean? So essentially the only thing it really did was give me that sense of like, oh shit, this is possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually kind of like that, and even though it is technically cliche, but that's a damn good motivator.
There wasn't anything that would have been a better motivator, in my opinion.
Man, not no David Goggins, not nothing, bro. That is top tier motivation, bro.
And it's dopamine like no other.
Like no other, man, for sure. So, the next question I also want to get into, because you're a multifaceted person. You know what I'm saying? I did my research beforehand. All right, you know what I'm saying? So, I know y'all can see this, but to the left of him, if you're like looking at this on the screen, to the left of him, we see these two tubs, right? These two tubs of that's Ghost Whey Protein, correct?
Ghost Whey Protein, yep.
Ghost Whey Protein. So, my boy be into, you know what I'm saying? He be in the gym. My boy be lifting, you know what I'm saying? I could obviously tell just by the shirt, you know what I'm saying? I could tell if somebody lifts, you know what I'm saying? I could just tell if somebody lifts just by how the shirt fits him, you feel me?
Right.
So, in terms of that, when did you get into fitness or lifting weights as well? Like, what was the initiator for that?
So, let's see. I was a multi-sport athlete growing up. Sports and video games were my entire life. From as young as I can remember, I had a dad who put me in t-ball at a very young age, was my coach throughout pretty much most of my younger years. It even got to the point where like we would go outside and play catch, and he had a bum shoulder, so he bought this like slingshot online. Which had like green, they weren't foam baseballs, but they were like softer baseballs, but they were green, so they glowed in the dark. And we would sit out in the front yard, and he would slingshot pop flies to me, and I couldn't eat dinner until I caught 10 in a row. Like it was wild shit, dude. Like I would go in, because what he would do is on the 10th one, he would soar one over my head on purpose. And obviously, I know the lesson that he was trying to get across to me now. But back then, like I'm a fucking 9-year-old. Like there's no way I'm understanding what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And so I would run in crying to my mom, and my mom would be on his same page and be like, "No, you gotta go back out." And like, I love sports, don't get me wrong, but it was taken very serious at a young age. But even during those sports, baseball, basketball, football, I never lifted, unless I had to. Like for football, you had to. But I would show up to the gym, and I would just like, I would stretch and maybe do like some bench, and that's it. And the coaches didn't really say, they would say like, "Hey, you gonna work out?" And be like, "No, I'm good, whatever." And I was a very arrogant kid growing up, because I was very athletic, and I used that as an excuse not to lift in a way, because I was like, I'm gonna not lift and still be better than you. I was
like shitting on everybody.
Right. And it was a horrible mindset looking back on it now, and I regret it to this day. But I also learned from those mistakes, because now I understand that if you want something, you're going to have to work your fucking ass off. And that's just how it is with no matter what you do. So I didn't get into lifting until I got to college ball, and I realized, oh shit, these kids are actually really good. So if I want to play, I have to start lifting, because I was 145 pounds soaking wet when I graduated high school. So going to college baseball, these kids are like bench pressing 225, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I can bench 135. And so I started lifting my sophomore year in college, or sorry, the summer going into my sophomore year of college. And I actually took this shit called Mass X, which, if any of you know what it is, it was like the closest thing to HGH that you could take in pill form. It wasn't officially HGH, but it was like this fucking shit that you got at GNC, and it was like, it was unreal for its time. It got discontinued because of how dangerous it was, but essentially what it was is it made me put on 20 pounds of muscle in like a month and a half.
Holy shit.
And Growing up, I was a skinny kid, but I was lean, and so putting on that muscle just like made me like a little bit bigger at the same leanness.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like with eating a double cheeseburger, a large fry, and a large Coke every single day, working at my
Ooh.
maintenance job. I was a maintenance man for low income housing where I just mowed grass. I did like landscaping, gutter covers, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I ate McDonald's every single day and still put on that muscle. But then I got to a point where once I was like satisfied, because this was over the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to a point where I was like satisfied with where I was at, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm good. And you're supposed to take this like post cycle to like balance out your hormones. And I didn't take it, and I just started drinking like a truck in college. And I got skinny fat. And for the next like 3 years, or no, sorry, 2 to 3 years, I just didn't do anything. I was playing baseball, so I was going to like lifting, conditioning, and whatnot, but I was not like lifting like I was supposed to. I was not going hard at all. I did the bare minimum. I showed up to practice. I showed up to games. I wasn't doing any extra work. Um, and then I herniated my disc
Mm-hmm.
in my junior year baseball. And after that, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with sports. I hated baseball at that time. I felt like I was just playing it because I had to.
You hated it prior to the injury, essentially.
Prior to the injury, yep.
Okay.
So like a couple years up into the injury, I was just like going through the motions. I was so sick and tired of it. So I was looking for any excuse to stop. Right. So I herniated my disc in baseball my junior year, and then I just stopped. I quit my senior year, so I didn't play my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those next like I don't know, three to 4-ish years, I wasn't doing anything, drinking on the weekends with friends and whatnot, still being skinny fat, eating like garbage. And I didn't get back into lifting until probably, I want to say it's 2 years now. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's 2 years at this point. Um, and funny enough, the reason why I got into it is because of anime. I don't know which one it was. I don't know if it was Black Clover or if it was Naruto, but for some reason, I got super into the gym because of anime. And I just really understood that I didn't want to die, right? And I'm a religious person, so I didn't want to be standing in front of God
Mm-hmm.
and see a version of myself that I didn't recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And I every single day when I would look at myself in the mirror, I hated the way I looked. I hated just myself because of how lazy I've been my entire life. I wasted a lot of the ability that God gave me at a young age. So I guess it's just it's been a process over the last 2 years of trying to get back to where I know I can't be. So I guess that's where it's at. And obviously, the gym is more therapy now,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's a staple in my life now that probably won't ever leave. The
Mm-hmm.
hardest part's the diet because I love
Oh
food.
yeah. Oh,
If I
bro.
could, dude,
Man.
if I could, fuck content, fuck teaching. If I could be the person that could sit in front of a camera and just eat the ASMR shit all day long, I would do it 100%. That is my dream job, is to eat the world's best food on camera and make a living off it. There's nothing else that I would rather do than that.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, like, especially like for anybody who knows for anybody in Texas listening right now, bro, that's bro, not only just the food, but
Yeah.
like the food trucks, especially
Ooh.
like, bro,
A taco truck? Dude, don't even get me started. I'm taking down 10 steak tacos. No lie.
and bro, like it's some days you're just like, maybe you got paid and the smell, you're just like, bro, fuck it. You're just
Yeah.
like, I'll deal with the repercussions later. Just give me everything. That's what it'd
Yeah.
be 36.45. Man, fuck it, I'll pay it
I
later.
swear, dude. Like, dude, when I was in college, I was door dashing a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and I did not have the funds to DoorDash. I had a work study job that I got $200 every 2 weeks, and I spent every single dime of that I could on DoorDash. And the DoorDash orders were like $55. Like, dude, it
Oh.
was ridiculous. I was ordering Chick-fil-A, I was ordering Wingstop, you name it, it was on my DoorDash.
Man, bro, you know what's funny, bro? It's funny because around like during like the start of the pandemic 2020, I actually
Yep.
started being the dasher, like delivering food, the
Yep.
food to people, right? And it'd be funny sometimes because I would be like, I used to look at the amount of money that. Okay, quick question: have you ever like been the dasher before?
No, I've actually
Okay.
thought about it during the summer, but
Hmm.
I feel like, dude, I don't know. I feel like if I smell one of them fucking McDonald's fries on the way to delivering it, I'm going back to McDonald's myself and I'm getting a large fry.
I've done that
Like,
before. You know what I'm saying?
I
I'm
don't have
serious.
enough discipline, or I'm stealing one of your fries. I'm sorry, but I'm doing it.
I'm not gonna lie, bro, because I forgot exactly what made me do it, but I think the first time I tried DoorDashing food was during the pandemic, and I'm looking at the price of the shit, and I'm like, because this is when like I newly had a car. This wasn't even up to like 2 years since I had a car. So, you know what I'm saying? You have a car, you love the freedom, you love being able to drive to whatever the flying fuck you want to, go wherever you want, and pick up your friends, you know, all that other stuff. But then it's like, I'm looking at like DoorDash because I'm like, man, food delivered to you? I'm like, okay. This is when the first time people actually started using it a lot. So I downloaded the app, made my own account, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, bro, there's like a $5 delivery fee. There's some other fucking app fee just because. And I'm looking at this once was like a $10-12 order. It's like $20 now. And I'm like, bro, these guys must make hella money. And I'm like, let me do this. I'm like, let me fuck around this. I'm about to make bread when I do this. First DoorDash order, that shit said $3.45 to deliver
See,
food
that's so tough. That's
for
so tough.
for like 12 miles. I'm like, bro, this guy is not serious, bro. This guy's not serious, bro. So
You be getting hoed.
it's crazy because it's like, it's weird because I've been a dasher before, so I can understand why somebody would tip somebody or why somebody wouldn't tip somebody. I understand because I've DoorDash food before, because I'm looking at the price of this. I'm like, man, this is already expensive. And then you want a $6 tip on top of that? Some people are like, man, F that. I'm not doing that shit. But from the DoorDasher perspective, you know what I'm saying, the Dasher delivering the food, I'm looking at this order like, bro, you live like 30 minutes away. And then on top of that, because I know this is gonna be a whole nother discussion, but I think people technically should tip their DoorDash drivers. Now, I'm not saying you have to give a crazy amount.
Is there an option not to tip them?
Oh yeah, 100%. There's an option like $0.
Oh, I tipped them every time.
Because the thing is,
there are times where I will tip the lowest amount, but for the most part, I do tip.
because as a driver, hey, I just want something. All right, I'm $1, $2. I'm not too mad at that. But if I see that, if it's like, because sometimes I've had orders that were like $2. Like they're about to give you $2 to go to this Chick-fil-A in this sketchy ass neighborhood. Fucked up roads, potholes, my car suspension getting fucked up. I need an alignment after one delivery, and then to top it off, I went through all that trouble, and the tip's almost the, hey, I appreciate you for, you know, getting my order or handling the logistics from point A to point B. Hey, thanks. Here's $2. That's all I'm asking. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you give $0, it's like, man, it's like, damn, it's almost like a kind of like a spit in your face, like a fuck you. Like it doesn't really matter regardless. I still would have got the food. So, but I also understand their perspective because that shit would be so expensive sometimes. I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah, you're getting up there in like the 30s, $40, and it's like, fuck, like, what am I gonna tip this guy?
Exactly, but then it's like, do I really want to get up? And sometimes whenever like, let's say for example, you don't have your car, for example, or to anybody who doesn't have a car, or let's say, even better yet, let's say you live in the city, you live like downtown within your like the downtown real like urban area. Obviously, that's when, for one, like I'm in Houston, so everything downtown is much more expensive than somewhere out like deep in like where there's country and shit like that. Like a great example. There was a store at my campus. There's like a few campus locations. There's one that's like way like an hour and a half from the main campus. That location, you can get the same drink for $1.25.
Yeah.
The main location of the campus, it will charge you $4 for that same drink.
That's criminal, dude.
So then think about how everything else is upcharged. Because obviously, I'm assuming it's more expensive to have that whole business functioning and running within that area. So not only is it more expensive to buy the food, but it's also upcharged because it's either on Uber Eats or DoorDash.
Yeah.
Then there's more fees. And then there's a tip on top of that. So either you got money or those motherfuckers gonna be like, man, fuck you, bro. Just give me my food.
Right.
So I definitely understand both perspectives. So when you say it gets up there in money, hey, trust me, I know. I know for sure.
You almost have to like delete the app because it's such a convenience.
Yeah, bro, so convenient, bro. Like not having to get up.
Take your card off, or you have to delete the app, which I've tried both, and I was
He said I've tried both.
I've tried both.
Keyword tried both.
Right.
Okay, so the other thing that you mentioned within your fitness journey was you say you were inspired by anime. Do you remember the exact, like, I know it'd be kind of hard to pick this out, but do you remember that exact moment or character where you're like, I gotta get built like that?
Yeah, well, so it wasn't like a build that I think got me in the gym. I think it was more so the mindset of the character. So for example, there's two that I can specifically know off the top of my head. Naruto, his mindset was for sure a motivator or an external motivator for me. Just his fuck it, I'm doing this. I don't care what anybody says. I'm achieving my goals.
Bro, because for like 400 episodes, Naruto was trash.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think him for sure. And then also Asta from Black Clover. Have you seen Black Clover?
I have not.
There's a character named Asta from Black Clover. He just like he's like Naruto. He started from absolutely nothing, and he has no like talent or abilities because it's like a magical world, like where people have magic powers. He has no magic whatsoever, and he just works his fucking ass off like every single day. When people are partying, he's working. Whenever people are chilling on the couch or whatever, he's working. He's doing push-ups, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just simple, very, very simple shit that for some reason clicked with me so hard. I don't know why, because if you told me like 5 years ago, hey, anime is gonna get your ass in the gym, I'd be like, nah, bitch, you're crazy.
Like what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm telling you right now, that corny shit's not getting me in the gym, but it did. It's wild, and I'm appreciative of it.
Damn, man. So to anybody watching, hey, look, I guarantee you, hey, look, anime is very influential. I'll let you know that right now. I always talk about it. We were talking about it even off of the podcast. To anybody wondering, yeah, look, I got 1, 2, 3 Itachi posters in my room. I'll let you. Go ahead.
I have not seen Dragon Ball, but we got the Goku, we got the Attack on Titan Eren, and then we got the Goat Madara Uchiha.
Ooh, man.
So tough.
Fucking bro, like I said, we were talking about this off the podcast as well. Right. I love watching Madara, bro. He's just like, yes, he's very overpowered. I get that, but it's just like seeing some, like, I think that's also why I freaking love being a great player at Call of Duty as well. It's just when you see that like difference in skill, right? And it's not for no, like, it's not just he's overpowered because he's unfair, bro. Right? This man got reanimated. Yeah. Right? For anybody who watched Naruto, you know what I'm talking about. He was dead. He got reanimated. He had enough conscience to snap himself out of that reanimation to give himself an actual body. Was still whooping shit. And then off impulse, he's like, I'm going to summon the Nine Tails. I'm like, bro, wait. I'm like, wait. You're already OP. Why are you doing this?
Right. It's like when, I think it was an interview with Iman Shumpert. And he was talking about the play that Kobe had, where he's like, he came down the court, shimmy, threw it off the backboard, slammed it. He's like, what are you on? Like, it's just some GOAT type shit. Like, you can't explain it because they're an anomaly.
And it's crazy that you mentioned Iman Shumpert, because I think it's the way he talks about NBA players. It has
great storyteller.
He is amazing storyteller. I remember he was talking about LeBron, right? Anybody who's watched this, quote me if I get anything wrong, please. I watched it a while ago, but he was saying, like, I think this was when this is when they definitely were on the Cavaliers. So he's saying there was like a play that LeBron ran at one point, because think about this. LeBron's usually running the 3. This man's running the point. That's how LeBron was. So he would come down the court and he'd run a play, right? He'd run this play. You know what I'm saying? He passes to who such and such, goes through, they score, right? And they're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? That plan worked. But Iman Shumpert's like, LeBron's like, oh, no, run it again. And they're like, aren't they gonna pick up on it at this point? No, they ran it again. They scored again. And then he's like, comes down the court again, running it again. And they're like, bro, is LeBron crazy? They run the play again. They score again. Yeah. 4th time, let's run it again. They're like, bro, this guy can't be fucking stopped, bro. He's like, and it's funny thing is because they're yelling, like LeBron's yelling. They're not whispering like, hey, we're going to do this. All right, no, LeBron's yelling at the top of the lungs, the same play that they've ran for the 5th time already.
He's calling that shit.
And he's still calling it.
Right.
So you know what he's going to do. You're like, all right, that guy's going to go there. That guy's going to, I don't know what's going to happen. But then somehow you're like, bro, how the fuck did they just score? Like, how did they score? It's one of those things where it's like, bro, seeing somebody like have that sort of dominance is like, you're just like, bro, this.
It's just hard not to watch. Like you just want to keep watching it. I agree.
It's hard not to watch. And same thing with Madara. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Itachi as well. You know what I'm saying? Even though if Itachi and Madara were to fight, yes, I know Madara would win. Okay, stop saying that, because people stay saying that to me. But if him and Madara were to fight, I know he's gonna win. All right, I still like Itachi. But man, I'm telling you, man, for my Naruto watchers, bro, this man got. It's episode 322. I remember it off the top of my head because my birthday is March 22nd, 322. So I remember it like this. I'm like, I already know what happens. It's one guy running into 5,000 soldiers. Like they're standing next to. They hated each other less than like 2 years ago. They hated each other. They wanted to kill each other, and they probably got into a fight with each other before. But now I'm your friend, and we're all about to fight this one guy, and you're thinking, bro, 5,000 people versus one person, easy. He wipes 2,500 people.
Wipes the floor.
30 seconds.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
Somebody tried jumping at him, you know what I'm saying, what is, I think he had like a kunai or something. Sharingan, stunned, frozen, smack shit out, and he goes flying. And then, you know, I think, what was it? Who was it? It was Gaara and, what was his name? What's the short, like, sand guy that does the pebble jutsu thing? I forgot his name. He's the real short guy that floats. I forgot his name. I don't remember. But for anybody who's watching this, he's the guy with the red nose. To any serious Naruto fans, I don't know why I can't remember that shit.
They'll get it. Yeah.
They'll get it. They know who I'm talking about. So he put his hands on Gaara's like a little like sand barrel. His sand is like feather light, and he's throwing everything at Madara. Throws him one way. Naruto comes through. Rasen Shuriken throws at him. This motherfucker absorbs this shit. He absorbs it. How do you absorb this giant spinning disc, ball of energy? And they're like, bro, there's no way he did that. And then after that, this man's bringing planets on top of Earth. And then they're like, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying? I think his name is Gnocchi or some shit. I don't know, something along the lines of that. So he goes in, uses the same pebble jutsu or featherweight jutsu, whatever it's called, stops the first border from coming down. He's like, all right, bet. But Amada's like, okay, good. What are you guys gonna do about the second one? We're like, second one? And then it zooms out. It's 3 more. I'm like, bro, come on, man.
Right. It's just one dude too. You just look back at it, it's just one dude.
Yeah, one guy. And everybody else is looking at the sky like, hey, bro, I didn't think I died today, but I think I might die today, bro. Seeing that is just, I could talk about Naruto all day, man. But man, like seeing that, bro, is just, that's why I love anime, bro. Like the build up of the story, the way they illustrate the characters, but the way their power was actually illustrated.
I know. They're geniuses, man. They're geniuses. Because it hits home with grown ass men. Like I don't know how they do it, because it's essentially, it is a cartoon in terms of the animation, but it's like an adult cartoon, in my opinion.
It just does. It just does. Man. So wait, you say you haven't watched Dragon Ball?
I have not watched Dragon Ball. I don't know if I will. There's so many better ones. And Dragon Ball, I feel like I watched my buddy watch it. He was watching like an episode, and I swear to God, the whole episode, he was transforming into like whatever his fucking transformation is. He screamed the whole time, and for 20 minutes, I think he went from transformation 1 to like 4, whatever it was. The whole episode. There's no way I got the patience for that. Like,
you want to know it's so fun, bro? I know the exact episode you're talking about too. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this man! I think, bro, anybody, like I said, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I didn't watch that shit in so long, but I watched it entirely from start to finish, Dragon Ball Z. So I think there's like I'm not gonna call it like an alternative. I guess it's an afterlife almost. I think I forgot what it's called, but there's some guy with like dark shades that helps Goku. You know what I'm saying? Rehabilitate. And then with Dragon Balls, he can be revived, right?
Yeah.
So he's in this area, right? And I forgot how they got to this area as well, but they're looking at him, do the transformation. So he starts from normal mode, Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, and then he literally yells the entire time for like 10 minutes straight.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
I was like, is this like real show? I said, there's no way you sit there and you listen to this guy scream the whole entire time. Like,
And
I
then,
get it. It's a great anime overall in this general scheme of things, but there's no way I'll sit through this shit.
bro,
No
it
way.
was. Yeah, it's funny because I know what you're talking about vividly. And when I was watching, I'm like, what the fuck is gonna happen now, bro?
Right.
But then obviously he went from Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 because apparently it took a lot of energy to go from 2 to 3. I don't really know,
Yeah.
but he lost his eyebrows. His hair is really long, and he's like cracked out of his mind after that, bro.
Yeah.
It is wild. But later on in the show, he's able to make that transformation. But like I think in certain episodes he can go from like regular to Super Saiyan 2 and then 3, or maybe from regular to 3 instantly. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know what was the point of that episode. They were just like, hey, we're out of screen time. All of our voice actors, they're all sick. We need something to do.
Low on budget or something.
Budget was like fucking running for 10 minutes. But wouldn't that be boring, man? It's the end of the episode. Just running for 10 minutes.
Right.
I'm like, dude, there's no way they really let this go through. That was one crazy episode. But besides that, Dragon Ball Z is. Ooh, the thing with Dragon Ball Z, it's almost like the first part of Naruto, like when they're all kids. I'd say there's a less of an emotional attachment to the characters in Dragon Ball Z. There's much more of an emotional attachment to the characters in Naruto, but
Yeah, 100%.
definitely more in Dragon Ball Z. It's more like fighting, more combat. There's a whole lot of just dead points where we're just staring at motherfuckers, just feet shoulder width apart, and like this evil stance, and they're just standing there staring at each other. It's just like
Throwing straight hands.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, the first part, I think there's like there's Dragon Ball Z, then there's GT, and then there's Super. The first part, don't even watch Dragon Ball. There's no point in you watching that. It doesn't. There's no context you can take from that that's gonna help you in life. Just don't even watch it.
Yeah.
Then Z is I think is the best part. G was a little confusing. It's kind of like how Boruto is from as sort of like the transition.
Yeah.
Even though Goku can go Super Saiyan 4, it just doesn't really make sense. Like as a transition wise, I don't know what the fuck happened to Vegeta. He looks like a mechanic now. But and then Super, I've never watched Super, but we gonna get into that as well for sure. But yeah, definitely if you can, Dragon Ball Z for sure.
It might be on the end of like whenever I run out, because there's a whole bunch on my list still that I still need to watch, and that are on like a priority right after I finish One Piece. But it'll probably be on the list whenever I like run out of things to watch. You know what I mean? Like I need something to just kind of chill out and grind.
Yeah, I would definitely put that on the back burner.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a grind.
Yeah, definitely, because it's not one of the craziest things to watch. But like when I was a kid, I'm like, this is above all. But now if I watch it, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Reality's kind of set in too much for me to enjoy this. For sure. But now, the next topic I want to go over, because I know a lot of people don't really know too much about anime, but the next thing I want to talk about was the first video I ever saw from you. I think I was like in my bathroom scrolling YouTube shorts, but I saw your video, and it was you talking about the 1v1 tournament that you had with your students. All right. Now, I can explain what I saw, but I want you to explain it because obviously you're going to explain it a little bit better. So walk us through that 1v1 tournament you had at the end of the semester with your students.
So this was last year. I figured out a way, because the biggest thing for an alternative school teacher is essentially the way I explain it to like friends and family who like kind of don't understand how chaotic it can be. Let me preface, these are all great kids. They're great kids from broken families or no families at all, shit home lives, crazy trauma, just like, you know what I mean? Just, they didn't deserve the life that they got. So let me just start by saying that. But essentially what it is, let's say my school is in the middle of a circle. And the radius to the middle of the circle from each end, right, is like 40 miles, let's say 30 miles. And so we cover school districts with a diameter of 60 miles, right? And so let's say there's a total of like 13 school districts, right? I have the worst behaved kid from 6 through 12 from every single school district.
Jesus.
So that's the way I kind of explain it to people. Now, keep in mind the worst behaved, right? And then when they come to my school, it just depends on like if because you'll get this report of these kids of like their expulsion, right? And their disciplinary reports and it's packets long of just write-ups,
Jesus.
detentions, suspensions, expulsions. It's some of the stupidest shit. Like, like it'll be like Timmy wouldn't wouldn't put down his headphones today, or Timmy wouldn't stop burping in class, and it's like, dude, come on, just manage that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just these teachers who just want these kids out, and they'll do anything to, because if you stack a report, then eventually once something does pop off that's serious and needs attention, then they
Yeah.
look at the reports and they say, oh, well, this kid's gotten in trouble every single day the last year. So it just depends on what kind of batch you get. But for the most part, that's how I explain it to people. And so being that these are all different kids in different grade levels from different schools, you have to have incentives for these kids. Nobody wants to come in and do work in terms of like math and science and English and social studies. Like no one wants to do that shit. I understand that. And so having these incentives in place kind of allow me to give them external motivation to then complete their assignments, which then helps the classroom like management in terms of control, right? And so one of the incentives that I thought of was if my kids are on a level 4 for 2 weeks in a row, and a level 4 just means it's our level system, which means they have good behavior and they have their stuff done, right? And they get a new level at the end of each week. It's kind of like when you had like flashcards as a kid. And like
Yeah.
if you got in trouble, you had to go to the red flashcard, but it's like a weekly basis thing. So
Okay.
it'd be like at the end of the week, you got a green flashcard. You know what I mean? It's just the highest level that you can be in terms of like your academic, like status and behavior.
So 4 is the
And
highest, correct?
4 is the highest. So if
Okay.
they're on a level 4 for 2 weeks in a row, then they could bring in their council of choice. And because I have a bunch of monitors in the room that we don't use, and I'll let them use my monitor as well. And they can play whatever game they want as long as there's a permission slip signed, because I say on the permission slip, some of the kids, I've seen that some of the kids enjoy the games Call of Duty and Minecraft and Roblox and all this stuff. And so they have to get that signed first. So a lot of the comments were like, how are you letting these kids play those games? I was like, dude, just trust me. That's the least thing you need to worry about at this point.
Yeah.
But
Like what?
so once they get that signed, then they can bring in their console. And once their work is done for that day, then they can play the game. And so when all the kids got done with their work, there was like a day where 3 kids brought in, it was like 2 or 3 kids brought in their consoles, right? And I bring in my gaming laptop, which is a pretty nice laptop that I don't use for anything else other than that, which honestly I'm trying to sell. So whoever's watching this and wants to buy a gaming laptop that is hardly ever used, it's very, very good. I bought it for like $2,100.
Ooh.
Got a 3080 in it. It's just a beast of a laptop that I hardly ever use. But I do bring it on Fridays for my kids. And so this was at the time where Modern Warfare 2019 was out, and I was playing it every single day. Like this is where I was addicted to Call of Duty. I was making content every day, and my kids knew that I made content, so that's what kind of like sparked them to start playing Call of Duty, because not a lot of them did. But then
That's
they saw that
fire.
I was playing Call of Duty, and then they were like, "Oh shit! Like I want to play Call of Duty too." So a lot of them first started playing, and I was like, "Okay, let's do a Call of Duty tournament. Like we'll do a free for all tournament on Speedball," and the kids are all hyped. Everyone's joining because I had primarily guys, and I think my only girl that was there wasn't there that day. So it was all dudes in the class, and every single kid, I think there was like 7 total, or maybe 8. They were all playing, or they're all in the tournament. So it was a single elimination, and the winner of the tournament got to face me. And so they're going through the tournament, and I think it was like to 20, it was either 20 or 30, whatever the free for all is, and they could use any gun that they wanted.
Okay.
I kind of told them that like use the same gun, so it's not a disadvantage, but they weren't like good enough to kind of like make that an advantage, if that makes sense. Like if a guy's using a kilo and the other guy's using an MP5, it's so balanced because of their inexperience to Call of Duty. But
Yeah.
there were a couple kids who were pretty nice in terms of their movement and shot, and their centering wasn't there. You know, the very hard analytical stuff wasn't exactly there, but for the most part, they were decent Call of Duty
They
players.
kind of had thumbs. You feel me?
To put it in perspective, they would be like 1.2 KDs in a like a pub, right?
All right. Okay.
So they go through this tournament and it's like really close at the end, like where it was like 19-19, and we'll use the code name Terry again. Terry ends up winning it, and he's sweating buckets now. He's like, oh shit. And to this day, I wish that I could have put like a cam, like a face cam on my face and his face, but for legal reasons, obviously you can't do that.
Yeah.
But dude, oh my God, I wish I would have. So we're playing, and I let him get like the first 5 kills. I was using a sniper, a Car 98, and I let him use whatever he wanted. I said, hey, you can use a sniper, you can use a Kilo, an MP5, use whatever you want to use.
What was he rocking?
I think he was rocking the Growl and the MP5. So he was running an overkill, which was kind of tough on his end, but he was running a Growl and Speedball and an MP5. And so I let him get the first 5 kills, and he's like, you know, these kids, they just talk shit the whole time. So they're like, you suck, Sanderson. I'm like, dude, come on. I'm like, all right, let me show you what this is all about.
Who the fuck said I was a nice teacher?
Yeah, so the amount of like shit that these kids give me on a day-to-day basis, because we have that relationship, I had to just put him down and let him understand that, like, hey, there's levels to this, big dog, and you'll understand that. And so I start putting him in a spawn trap, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not missing a single shot. And he's just like, like every kill, he's one of those guys that like moves when he like is moving. He's like this, which is why I would have loved to put a camera on his face, because he's like this, like whenever he's dodging, and every time he dies, like to me in the spawn trap, he's like what the fuck? Like he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and I'm like, I'm losing it at this point, just straight losing it. And I have a paraprofessional in my room at all times, who's kind of like an extra teacher, in terms of, because all these kids need like one-on-one direct instruction whenever they are like doing their assignments. And so she's losing it. She's never seen this kid act that way, right? Or even like speak that way. And she's just losing it. So I'm losing it, she's losing it, and he's flipping shit because he's like, holy shit, right? And so the game ends up like 30 to like, I don't even know, 7 or 8.
Oh my gosh.
An absolute, and granted, this started out 5-0. Like I let him get the first 5, and then I just put him in a blend. I think I want to say that I 360'd him at the end.
Oh god.
I do want to say that I think I got a hit marker, and I was like, fuck it, I just want to end it. And so then I just, you know, killed him, whatnot. But after that, he was like, holy shit, like, you know what I mean? And that was the only time that I 1v1'd. Actually, no, it wasn't the only time that I 1v1'd, because I did it the year before, but it wasn't like a tournament. He just like brought in his PS5, and we played split screen on shipment, which was weird, because me playing on PS5, I hadn't played on a console in like 4 years at that point. And so it was a little weird. Beat him too, but it wasn't like the same type of atmosphere that this one was. And I tell you what, it was one of the coolest moments that I've ever experienced, because of the fact that like all the kids who would give me shit on a day-to-day basis were finally like, holy shit, like you're actually like, because for a long time during that year, you know, they watched my videos and whatnot, but they thought that I was running a Cronus, or they thought that I had wall hacks, because they're like, there's no way you're hitting these clips. And I'm like, God,
they thought you were hacking.
They thought I was hacking. So when they saw it for the first time, they were like, holy shit. Like, it was crazy, because like, I don't know. I was just like, guys, you got to understand that like, this isn't like anything abnormal for someone who's been playing Call of Duty for 16 years. Like,
oh yeah,
obviously I'm gonna be good at the game, but it just depends on how much you play and how dedicated you are. Because you're not gonna be good if you just hop on for the first time ever or the second time ever and just expect to be like your favorite streamer. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a learning lesson for them as well. Like, hey guys, I've been playing this for over a decade. How old? I've been playing this for older than how old some of you guys are. You guys are 12, 13. I've been playing this longer than you have been alive. You know what I mean? And I was absolutely ass growing up at Call of Duty, because my first Call of Duty was World at War.
Mm-hmm.
When COD 4 was out during its like time of that being the Call of Duty out, I was playing Halo 3. I was a Halo kid. Absolutely fell in love with that. And then I transitioned into World at War when that came out, but I was horrible. Like, I don't know if you remember back then, but you had to unlock the sniper scope on the snipers in order to run a sniper scope. So it started out with like
Mm-hmm.
Springfield and Carr, like iron sight, and you had to get
Yeah.
headshots with the iron sight in order to unlock the sniper scope. And being ass at Call of Duty back then, that was one of the hardest things ever, because aim assist is not like it was, like it is
Bro.
today, bro. It was actually hard
It
to
was, man.
aim back then and be good. So I don't think I got good until like, in terms of like competitively, I didn't get good until Ghost. I was a very good sniper in Modern Warfare 2. I think I have 100 days played on Modern Warfare 2, but it was solely like trick shotting and free for alls and watching phase growing up, ill cams, shit like that. Like that was when I got so addicted to Call of Duty that it got to the point where when Black Ops 2 came out, which is my favorite Call of Duty of all time, I got banned from my parents. They took away my Xbox and banned me from playing Call of Duty because of how addicted I was.
What?
I would come home for practice and instantly hop on the game until like 3, 4 a.m. And I would fail my tests at school and I would like wouldn't do my homework. I was so addicted to the game that they banned me from it. And so during that time, I was like, fuck, I got like all my friends are playing Call of Duty. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? And so after practice every day, I would go to my friend's house and he had Black Ops 2. And so we would play on
Smart.
his Xbox. And so I kind of finessed that way, but I didn't really take it serious in terms of competitive play until Advanced Warfare. And that's when I found, like the competitive teams, Optic, FaZe, all those teams, C9, whatever. And I've been following religiously since then, since AW. And I've watched all of this stuff previous, but that was after the fact that I got hooked. So when, Optic had Scump, Nade, Formal, and was it Crim? Yeah, Scump, Nade, Formal, and Crim. That was the first team that I ever watched. And they were winning everything in AW. And this is before Karma came on. And so I got so hooked that I was like, fuck, like this has been going on for years now. So then I watched I'm not bullshitting you, every single tournament, all the way dating back to Black Ops 1. And yeah, I didn't watch like Modern Warfare 2, like competitive, or I've seen it, but I haven't like really watched every tournament. I watched every single tournament dating back to Black Ops 1 because I was so addicted to the competitive scene. And I think that's what made me fall in love with Call of Duty even more was the fact that like, okay, I'm getting really good and I want to continue getting really good because this is so addicting. And around that time when jetpacks came out, all my in real life friends, for the most part, stopped playing. They hated jetpacks. And I'm like,
Now
this
look what we
shit's
have.
starting to get real good now. Like, because stealth controllers started becoming a thing and you could Battle Beaver wasn't out back then, I don't think, but like an Elite controller was out back then. And so I was like, fuck, these games are actually really fun. But the people who just played to play Call of Duty, the people who like I guess you could consider OG. I consider myself an OG because I played back then.
Yeah.
But the old heads, I would say, didn't really enjoy jetpacks because there was a huge skill gap to them. I mean,
I
let's
love
be honest.
jetpacks, man. I love jetpacks, bro.
Yep. Same here. Like, let's be honest, there's a huge skill gap to those games because of the fact that, like, not only do you have to shoot straight, but you have to shoot straight in midair, which, for example, like a game like IW, Infinite Warfare, people hated that game. I loved the game so much because that was one of my best games. Like, for example, every one of my friends, for the most part, did not play IW because the graphics were shit. It was too futuristic. And I understand. I completely agree. But I played that game more than any other game other than Modern Warfare 2 because of how good I was. I guess you could, not to like sound arrogant or anything, but I just played religiously every single day after I got off from work. I would play 8s. I would play S&D wagers. I would play GBs. Whatever it was, whatever I could play, I was playing it. And it was just a time that I don't think we'll ever see again in terms of Call of Duty because I was so addicted to hopping on and playing competitively, multiplayer, whatever it was, I haven't had that same itch in terms of multiplayer specifically since like Black Ops 4. I think that's the last one where I played an S&D wager or like a Money 8s or anything of that sort because of the fact that obviously it's been so fucking dog shit these last couple of years. But then Warzone revived my competitive spark, and God, that game was so good too. So,
You know what's one thing I love about content creators?
what's that?
They answer like I have like 4 questions lined up here. You literally just answered all of them without even me saying anything. Like you just went into it and kept going. So I'm like, that's why I'm just here like, I'm like, he's answering that one. Okay, next one. He answered that one too. He's just going. I'm like, I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna let him go.
Because you have to like progress through the
I
guess the years, I guess you could say, of like how this game has evolved and how you evolved with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because there's a whole timeline behind it, which is why I have these questions to sort of like build up on it, and you already answered it. Because, like I said, there's a point where you had that sort of inclination where, yes, you are pretty bad at Call of Duty. I was so like I wasn't just bad. I was dog shit.
Yeah.
I sucked. I don't know how I was so bad at Call of Duty, but I was bad at Call of Duty. Like I was really bad at Call of Duty for up until like Black Ops 2, I was pretty decent when it came to snipers, but then that's why I say I love jetpack games, because that was when it was like, all right, now there's more to just this guy's camping in a corner or this guy's camping up in that window. I'm getting shrieked on. Oh, fucking well, I'm done. Now it's like, you want to sit in that window? All right, bet. Because I love Black Ops 3, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna slide in the middle, like, you know what I'm saying, in the middle between 2 buses. I'm gonna wall run against the buses. I'm gonna do that little hop up above the bus.
Wall bounce.
You know, wall bounce and make one burst you out the window. Yeah. And then I hear the hot mic of you getting mad. I'm like, yep. Yep, there we go. And then let's say it's domination. First round ends, I get called all types of racial slurs, all types of insults. I'm like, yep, that's what I like to hear. What motivates you, you know what I'm saying?
Keep it coming.
Yeah, keep it coming, you know what I'm saying? And I turn on my mic because obviously I was like, what, fucking 15, 16 when that game dropped. So I'm saying whatever the fuck. I'm saying whatever the flying fuck back to him. So it's just one of those things where it's like there's a whole timeline to it. Like there's a whole build up behind it, you know?
There really is.
There really is, man. And the thing that I like how you mentioned is like, bro, there's no way you're gonna get good at something without extreme amounts of time playing, bro.
Unless you're like a super freak like Shroud and Seth, Scump, Abner, like unless you're someone who just is so talented that no matter what you play at the beginning of playing it, you're gonna be godlike. Because there are people in between where, like, for example, I hopped into Apex probably, I want to say like 2 months ago, right? And I hadn't played Apex since like the first day it came out. And Apex is, I didn't understand it at the time, but holy shit, there's a skill gap in that game.
Oh, like, it's a huge skill gap.
It's unreal. It's a very fun game too. And so I was horrible at it like, obviously anybody can shoot their gun straight, right? But it's how you transition into gunplay and tacticals and ability usage and passive usage, movement, and all these different things. And for the longest time, for the first like couple days, I would say I just could not get myself out of the mud in terms of my movement was so shit because I didn't understand the mechanics. I didn't understand the timings of slides, and I couldn't wall bounce or do any of that fancy shit. So I would just go into a firing range and just shoot bots and just move around the map as quickly as I could and try different things. I configured my controller to do, because you can't tap strafe on controller unless you go through Steam. And
my boy Mikey told me this. Yes.
So once I learned that, I was like, oh shit, like this is about to get real fun. And so I played it for like a month and a half, and I got pretty fucking good in terms of like, I was very confident 1v3ing any team. In terms of like the lobbies that I would get in, I was very confident. I had a couple buddies who were playing it with me. My brother is very good at Apex, and they're still playing it to this day. But I think I stopped on a dime completely playing it because of the fact that I thought X Defiant was going to come out here in these next whatever it's supposed to come out. So Pat Price, get on your shit, all right? I know you've been saying end of summer. It's the end of summer, big
Mark Rubin, where the fucking game at, bro?
So you know what I mean? And I played the X Defiant beta or the alpha and the beta, and holy fuck, I like that game a lot. That game has a huge skill gap because of the movement. The guns are super fun to use. I was using the ACR every single game, just twerking on kids. So I was planning on playing that until the new COD came out, but I guess I'm not gonna play it because I don't know when the fuck it's gonna come out.
I don't know when the games come out. I know they say there's issues in terms of like publishing, and I get there's that. But then now I was seeing a couple of tweets about it today too. We're at the point where it's like the game's on, like let's say Modern Warfare 3 is halfway decent. That's a lot of competition, even if it's halfway decent. Because
even if it's shit, it's still competition.
Oh yeah, 100%. If it has to be like, it has to be worse than Modern Warfare 3, and it's still somewhat competition. But what I'm saying is like, bro, I get that they're possibly, I get somebody's gonna be like, well, you don't know what it takes to make a game. Well, I'm a consumer, so who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to care because I'm a consumer. I'm just gonna want the game to want to play it. And then we're at the point where we don't have the game, and it's September 12th, and it's up in the air at this point. Hearing that it's up in the air, I'm like, great. We're communicating. At first, the communication was like, all right, I appreciate the communication. Thank you guys for letting us know. But now I'm like, all right, where the fuck's the game now? we need the game now. Like, I'm serious. I'm at the point where I stream and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to play. Like,
I've gotten to a point where I just feel like that's why I transitioned into taking my camera to the gym, is because there was nothing that I enjoyed playing or making content on, but I still had the itch to make content.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, what do I do every day? Well, I go to the gym for 2 hours a day. Let's just take it there and bullshit. You know what I mean? So then I started making that sort of content, but I'm still itching to play Call of Duty. Like there's nothing more fun to me than hopping on a Call of Duty that I enjoy and making content. There's nothing on this earth that makes me more happy than doing that. Especially when I enjoy it, because it's just, it just, I don't know. There's something about the nostalgic feeling of it, of playing a video game, but not playing a video game just to play the video game. Playing the video game to try to achieve something that you've dreamed of doing and being since you were 14, 13. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
And also another thing that's big with me is skill gaps with Call of Duties. Like it feels, I know it's gonna sound crazy, but harder Call of Duties are more fun to me. It's crazy. That's
100%.
Yeah, because think about it, right? What we have now is, all right, let's say, for example, there's a guy, let's say there's a bomb site, right? Let's say there's a bomb site and there's a certain peak at this bomb site, right? And it's like, holy fuck, this guy can see everything. He can shoot you no matter which direction you're coming from. He can see it, right? It's the God spot, right? Now, in a jetpack Call of Duty, I can like wall run, sort of like jump up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Peek over the bus a little bit, you know, all kinds of crazy things. You can improvise a lot because it's a jetpack Call of Duty. I can even slide, I can even pop active camo, go through, baby, I got dead silence and awareness, and, well, let's say I got dead silence and like blast suppressor from like Black Ops 3 or something. I got those perks. You can't hear a thing. You can't hear me at all. I'm moving, and I got active camo, so now I'm invisible. I don't exist on the map, right? There's those things to help you, but now we don't have specialists. We don't have specialist abilities, weapons. You know, we don't got no slide that actually whatever the fuck we got now sucks. Still, we don't really have any advanced movement. No extra form of. There's no like method of outplaying people. I could throw a smoke.
You die in 2 bullets. If you're getting L triggered by a good player, you're dead. Sorry, you're dead.
That's
if you're getting L triggered by a good player in Modern Warfare 2, you're dead. Sorry.
You're dead. That's it. That's it, man. And honestly, the way these maps are designed, let's be honest, they're fucking horrible. There's not a single map I enjoy from the past 3 Call of Duties. I mean, Modern Warfare 2019 had a few, but past 3 Call of Duties, like Cold War, I mean, what did Cold War have? I mean, they kind of had, I guess Checkmate was.
They had Raid, but that's a Black Ops 2 map, so it's, I don't count it. Yeah, Cold War, I mean, Garrison, maybe, if you like that. But, I mean, like I said, there's no good maps within the last... Since Black Ops 4, I would say there isn't, like, 2 good maps that you can name. Like, I can name probably 3 good maps from Black Ops 4. Frequency, Arsenal. There's probably another one that I'm forgetting. Maybe Hacienda.
Yeah, I was about to say Hacienda, yep.
I don't know. But, like, Modern Warfare 2019, Gunrunner, maybe?
Gunrunner, Hackney Yard.
Right.
Maybe.
I mean, but even Hackney Yard P2, like, good luck breaking that shit. The fuck was that? You know what I mean? It was a good map, but like in terms of like the spawn system and the hills, like, dude, how are you gonna break P2 with fucking arsity's holding top, whatever it was, green. Like there's no, you know what I mean? It's just they don't make maps like they used to, and it sucks because that's literally 25% of the game.
I've literally said, bro. I've literally said, bro. Hey, whoever's at the studio, they don't test the maps at all. There's no way they do. And it's anybody that says, oh, well, yeah, there's definitely a process where they do. Look at Senior Border Crossing. No, you couldn't pay me $1,000 an hour to lie and say I like that game. That is the worst. I'm just confused how, like, people in tuxedos sat and said, yeah, that looks great. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's the cars explode the second you run through the map. You run through the map, blow up, die. Okay, the lane on the left, all right, go through there, get sniped, boom, or you go behind a couple cars. Let's say you go behind the cars. You still get shot in the foot by 2 snipers, you're dead. Completely makes sense. And then there's no right side of the map. There's no right lane. So it's either you go through the cars or you go through this dumb hallway with a trash can as your only cover. And I'm just like, what process allowed you guys to say yes? Like, what process went through for you guys to greenlight this fucking map, bro? The next question I had to ask. I could low-key guess the first 2 that you're gonna say, but I don't know the third one. So I gotta ask. What are your top 3 Call of Duties? Now, this isn't the top 3 Call of Duties of all time. It's SiidV's top 3 Call of Duties.
Well, I think it's both. Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops 3. Those are my top 3. They've probably been my top 3 for a long time. And you could, in the way that I categorize them is in a mix of competitive standpoint, how well it played, how balanced it was, guns, maps, things of that sort, how fun it was, and skill gap. And I think the reason why Black Ops 2 sits at the top for me is because it had literally the perfect mix that you could ever make in Call of Duty. It had a pick 10 system. It had great camos that you could buy for like $1.
Yep.
$1? Oh, yeah, dude, like now you have to buy 1 camo for $20 because it's all about a price tag. But that's a whole different story. The maps were great. I can name 10 maps off the top of my head that are just fucking awesome. Every single competitive map could be played for hardpoint, for search, for cap the flag, every single one. And there's a reason why we remake half of those maps, because they were good maps and they put effort into them and they were tested and they were considered for every aspect of the game. So I think Black Ops 2 just had the perfect balance of that. Modern Warfare 2 for the 1, nostalgic feeling. 2, the sniping for me was just unlike anything else and unlike any time that I've ever experienced. Phase Ill cams, just everything that revolved around that. I don't know if you remember, but Optic Predators montage was in Modern Warfare 2, and that's one of the greatest montages of all time, in my opinion. What else? Just the overall feel that I got playing Modern Warfare 2, the amount of time I spent, that's why it ranks at number 2. And then number 3, then we get more into like the time where I started getting good at Call of Duty, in terms of like I played this game religiously because of how fun it was, how visually appealing it was. Dark Matter camo, probably the best Dark Matter camo we've ever had.
Top tier, man.
All running, the skill gap, the guns. I mean, come on, the VMP, the M8, the Man of War, like the maps, Fringe Uplink, Fringe Hardpoint, Fringe S&D. Like, dude, it just
Fringe was the comp map. It really was.
Yeah, it was so fun to play, and pubs were so fun as well.
So fun.
You get wraps and you're just floating around the map, killing anything in sight. So yeah, I would say definitely Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops 3.
That's crazy because you have the exact top 3 that I have. I'm not joking.
In the same order?
I would flip BO3 and MW2 for this one reason.
Makes sense.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar. Are you familiar with like Plutonium and X Labs?
Yeah.
So the thing with the X Labs, right, is I was playing it on my PC with my PS4 controller, and I'm like, okay, cool. You know, this is small for 2. You get the same nostalgic feeling. The problem is that going back and playing Modern Warfare 2, it makes you real. Like at the time, it was very fun. Even when I play it now, it still gives you that great nostalgic feeling. You're like, you just miss the sounds of the guns, you miss the maps and everything. The problem is, the game is it's pretty annoying to play. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is pretty annoying to play that game because just the way people played and the way what we're accustomed to at this point, that is like just so far in terms of like movement speed, time to kill, certain innovations. There's no quick draw. There's no like, I mean, there's sleight of hand in that game, but just a bunch of other things like small things like sensitivity. There's ADS sensitivity now, and all these other like different settings. Obviously, that came with time, but now it's like we're so used to these things, and now we go back and play Modern Warfare 2, and we're like, holy shit, this is annoying to play.
Yeah,
you know. And then, actually, go ahead. You're about to say something.
No, I was gonna say there's a video that I made probably a year ago at this point, and it popped off on YouTube Shorts, and it was, I knew it would get views because of how controversial it was, so I knew what I was doing. But I essentially said, you don't miss the original Modern Warfare 2. You just missed the nostalgic feeling. You missed getting on your Xbox and there being 99 people online. You miss talking with your friends on the OG Xbox mics. You miss being able to hop in a bare bones pro and lock the lobby and boost with your friends. If you can go back that far and remember, like you miss the feeling of playing Modern Warfare 2. If Modern Warfare 2, the OG, came out today, you'd play it for a little bit until you realized how fucking, shit it is compared to what we can have.
Exactly.
Right? Not what we have, but what we can have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I knew that would be a controversy because half the comments were, I think there was like, I want to say there was like 15,000 comments, and half were, you're so right, and half were, fuck you, you don't understand, like that game was so good. And then those people, those two sides, just
they're arguing with each other under comments.
War, and I'm like, yeah, keep commenting. You know what I mean?
I love videos like that because I'll be looking and I'm like, I'll look at my notification thing and I'm like, it says 9+. I'm like, what's going on today? And I'm looking at it, it's just these two people going back and forth. Like,
I actually got a video taken down for that because of it was considered hate speech because they were roasting each other in the comments. I had a video and it was doing really well. It was one of those videos where you post and it's like instantly going, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, this is nice to feel again. And then it got taken down at like 200K for hate speech, and I was like, how the fuck? So I appealed it, and they were like, I had this guy reach out to me and he said, your comment section wasn't being filtered correctly or filtered enough or something along those lines. And I was like, you God, that's not up to me, dog. Like, what am I supposed to do? Turn off my comments completely? Like,
yeah, like what? Damn. No, it's funny because I've had videos even on my TikTok before. I'm not gonna lie, I'll go in there, man, and they'll be like I'll say something in the video and somebody either agrees with me or disagrees with me, but he says something and somebody under it says, you probably have never played Call of Duty or this is that and the third. And the guy under him says, dude, what the fuck you talking about? I probably destroy you. This is that and the third. And he's like, dude, your profile picture is this, that. There's no way you're better than me. And then their moms, and he's saying, fuck you, you're an orphan. And I'm like, bro, what is going on here?
They just go to war with each other, man.
They go to war, man. So the fact that you had said that it got taken out for that, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because sometimes the comments aren't even like, but the great thing about it is that person keeps clicking on the video. And more than likely, the video is playing as they're typing a comment. So that's watch time.
The watch time is going up like crazy. The percentage completion is going up like crazy because it's just on a straight loop.
On a straight loop, man. Yeah. And you know they're backspacing, typing, backspacing.
Right.
Oh, man. There was one guy, I had a TikTok video. This guy responded to like, bro, like fucking. I woke up thinking this video is going ape shit, bro. And then I opened the freaking notifications and I'm like, the same guy's respond to like 18 different comments. He's just talking shit.
That's the worst. Because you see the 99+ and it's just one dude and you're like, ah, damn it.
like this dude cracked his knuckles, said, it's that day today.
Just a keyboard warrior. He's like, let's get busy.
Going ham, bro. I'm like, bro, there's no way, man. But nah, 100%, I agree with what you're saying. It's the fact that we missed the game in combination with the time setting, because even though X Labs is gone, which fuck you Call of Duty for doing that, I get the whole IP thing, but it's still fun. I hate you guys for that.
Let's play the game.
So I have an Xbox. I have an Xbox One that I bought strictly just for playing like older Call of Duties because they fixed up the servers for CODs from, I think it was COD 4 to like Black Ops. No, like MW3, I think it was. They said Black Ops 2, but holy fuck, it's full of hackers.
Yeah.
BO2 is still full of hackers. So I bought it to play that, and I'm like, all right, I can make some content with these games. This is crazy because now I have no time to make that kind of content. So the thing is, like, when I go back and play it, and I'm like, see, playing it on PC was cool. Obviously, you have a higher frame rate. I overclocked the shit out of my controller, so fast response time. I'm in Discord. The graphics look much better. Obviously, the game runs a lot smoother. And I'm playing on a PlayStation controller just because I'm used to playing with the PlayStation controller. Yeah. Now, we went from all that to 120 FPS, or however, whatever the output was in the OG MW2. It's not 120 FPS just because I have an Xbox. It's still freaking, you know what I'm saying, still like subpar. So now it's like, I have the frame rate that we have now. And then on top of that, to add on to it, I'm on an Xbox controller, which I'm not used to playing at all. And then it's like now we're at like there's no like fast response time, there's no overclock controller. So now I'm playing it without. It's almost like you were rich and now you gotta live life just like being broke all of a sudden, snap of the fingers. Yeah. So now I'm like, man, this shit sucks. I'm like, this game sucks.
It's hard.
Oh yeah,
like those games were hard to play. We didn't realize it at the time because we were good at them, or we were getting good at them.
Oh yeah, we had time to play. Yeah,
we were adapted to console and the response time of console. Like you could get a 1 millisecond response time monitor, but the Xbox can only fucking do so much. You know what I mean? You can get a SCUF controller, or you could get an Elite controller, but the Xbox can only do so much. You really just had to adapt to what you were on, because like, I mean, back in the day, we all played on fucking big TVs. Like, we weren't playing on monitors, right? But we're getting good on those TVs because that's what we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
And now that we're accustomed to these, you know, high-end PCs and 120 frames or 200 frames even, and overclock controllers to 8,000 megas or whatever it is, if you have a PS5 controller compared to like an Xbox controller or a PS4 controller, it's just... we're so blessed now, I would say, and which makes it a lot easier. Added in with dynamic aim assist, which completely fucking ruined Call of Duty, but that's another story. That shit made bums good.
Man, it makes it, and not even just that. We're talking about not even just skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah,
we have skill-based hit reg. We have skill-based time to kill. We have skill-based input delay. I'm like, bro, everything's controlled at this point, because I'm like, I'll die to somebody and I'm like, he's not better than me. Right. I'm walking back and forth in this tiny space like, bro, he's not better than me. He's not better than me. Like, how did I die? How did I die so fast? Like, how do I lose that? But then you sit back and think, and I'm like, I forgot what game it was. I think it was Cold War. So, because Cold War, I remember Cold off the top of my head. That game at first ran like shit on my PC, but I tell you right now, that skill-based, they made the skill-based first before they made the game. I can tell they did. So I was in a pretty decent looking lobby, you know what I'm saying? It was a few bums on the other team. It was like 2 sweats, but I'm like, this lobby was just, I'm getting destroyed by these bums. Now I'm like, the guys are like level, not to dog on them, but they're like level 35. They got like sniper scopes on AK-74s. I'm like, what the flying fuck's going on? I'm getting gunned by this shit. I'm getting lag spikes, latency spikes. You know that little symbol that appears whenever you're getting like packet burst? Yes, bro. Whenever I see it, I'm just like, dude.
I've had such a hard time with that,
Seeing that, and I'm like, all right, it's popping up, but I'm not in a gunfight. And then it goes away. You're like, all right, great. You get into a gunfight, it pops up, you lose the gunfight. And I'm like, man, I was in that lobby. I thought I had to retire, bro. I thought I was like, man, I might just need to just full on just quit this shit, sell everything. I'm not good at Call of Duty no more. Next lobby I get into, full of sweats from top to bottom, and I'm like, I kid you not, bro. I was on like a 13 ping. All of a sudden, my response time was crazy. I'm like, so why is it I have a great response time, great latency, and a lobby full of sweats, which I was getting dogged on, so that shit really didn't matter. But now that I had a lobby I could have done great in, now I'm lagging. Somehow I'm connected to Bangladesh and Texas. You know, like all these other dumb factors are factoring. And I'm like, why does this only happen whenever I'm playing like halfway decent players? And then I'm really putting it together and I'm like, bro, everything's controlled. top to bottom is. And I'm like, why? And why is it controlled? So they can make some more money.
Yeah,
And then,
and they've even like admitted it. They're
yeah.
like, yeah, we're doing everything we can to make the casual player stay on the game and have a good time. I'm like, the fuck? The people are gonna play the game. You're always gonna make millions. Plural, millions. You're always going to make millions, no matter how bad or good the game is. So it's like, please just at least somewhat try to appeal to the people who really fucking die for this game. The people who are putting it out to casuals every single day. The people like fucking Scump and Nick Merckx and Tim the Tapman, all these guys who get fucking thousands of viewers every single day. New ones, that is, too, watching every single day, being like, oh, this game looks really fun. It looks like my favorite streamer's having a really good time playing this game. What is it? I've never seen this game. Oh, it's Call of Duty? Maybe I should buy that. Maybe I should download it. It's like, dude, you're always going to have a consumer. Just please market it to everyone, not just the casuals.
Yeah, and make it... How about we get a finished game for once? How about we just get a finished game? How about, like, I'm not even really asking for a whole lot. Like, above all, right? Like, okay, keep the skill base, keep the dumb, stupid shit. Okay, I don't care. Just, can the game be finished when it drops? Like, I played Vanguard, the beta. That shit almost blew up my graphics card.
Yeah, that shit.
I mean, like, not only am I pulling 100 frames, my GPU temperature's at 86. Like, this thing's about to explode. Like, it's about to take off, grow legs, and get the fuck out this case because it's too hot, bro. And I'm like, and then every time they drop a new update, breaks the game even more. We had an update. They integrated the Vanguard guns into Warzone. Fuck the whole game up. Shit wasn't fixed for like 3 months. New update comes, new season. Guys are floating, spikes are sticking out.
That was wild. The fucking spike sticking out of the gun. That shit was wild.
I'm like, bro, like, that's why I keep saying these guys don't. There's no, you can't convince, you can't point a gun at my head, life or death. Like, if you were to point a gun at me right now and say, I want you to change your opinion on that, I might die today. I'm not lying to you, bro. There's no way they test it before, because I'm like, bro, what testing would y'all do even if you do testing? Because I'm like, new games dropping. Oh, we didn't expect this much traffic. How have you not anticipate this kind of traffic for the past like 10 years, bro? Just I don't know. I guess from the standpoint of a company, because I've gotten a bit older, so I kind of understand it a little more. They're just hitting quotas. They're just hitting numbers, hitting benchmarks, metrics. So if it's like, all right, our investors happy, cool, we're done. Put our resources to other things. Like those 3,000 devs could be doing X, Y, Z to make it a lot better. But I'm like, they probably want it to be better. They probably know it sucks, so they signed an NDA, so they can't say shit. But they probably know this game sucks, but they're being pulled to work on some other project. Hey, go work on the cosmetics now. But we're like, we didn't get to finish that. Can't play that game. Oh no, it's fine. We're just gonna work on the skins over here. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to get fired. They want to keep their jobs. They probably have families. They probably have kids. They probably have their own lives that they want to fund. Who knows? You know, and they probably get paid great money. So it's like, go ahead.
Another thing they talk about it, or they have talked about it on the flank. The timing of when Call of Duty comes out. When's it come out? What month?
Usually November.
What month is after November?
December. And
people go on holiday break after they come out with, they've been working on the game for, supposed to be 2 years, right? It's supposed to be 2-3 years that they've been working on it. So, but even if they worked on it for a year, probably they're going to take a holiday break right after it comes out. So that first couple months stretch of when it first gets released and you're like, hey, there's a lot of things broken. Why are we not getting any sort of communication on when these things are going to be fixed or any sort of update, like saying, hey, we see you, we hear you, we're going to fix it. We're going to try to, at least, right? They don't give us jack shit. They're like, hey, here you go. All right, now I'm good. See you in Hawaii, whatever. You know what I mean?
Cancun, sipping fruity drinks out of coconut. He's typing on one message. Yeah, I got you, bro. Throws it to the side. He throws it in the sand. Forgets about it. Who cares?
Right.
It's wild. It's a lot that goes into it, and the saddest part is we were kids before when we first started being a decent a great deal of the fan base or the player base for Call of Duty are older people that once were kids. We were like, what, between the ages of like 5 to like 15, we were playing all these Call of Duties. So back then you could tell us, oh yeah, it's gonna get better, and we're like, yeah, we're still gonna buy the game. But now we're kind of at the point where it's like, all right, we're kind of older. Some of us are businessmen, you know what I'm saying? Some of us own business. Some of us are just too old to be fooled around or to be toyed with. So when you say, oh, we're gonna handle it, don't worry, we're like,
no, there's no.
Somebody out there says that to people for a living, and they're like, yeah, they're not doing shit. So now it's harder to deceive us. And now it's like, we're like, all right, now it's the point where it's like, bro, we just want a good game. That's all we want. You know what I'm saying? We got, some people got fucked up lives. Some people get up and dread work, and they want to come back and they want to play Call of Duty because that's probably the only thing they enjoy in life. Who knows? Now now it's horrible. Now it's unplayable. So now we're stuck at the point where it's like, and a lot of us are content creators that make content. Both me and you, we both make content regarding, initially from Warzone. So it's really hard to just tell your whole fan base, hey, fuck Warzone. Hey, come watch me play this other fucking game. That's nowhere near similar to Call of Duty. At least X Defiant is somewhat similar in terms of mechanics. The people who developed the game were ex Infinity Ward employees. I know Aches is on board in terms of like the development and the behind the scenes when it comes to that game. So at least there's that. But then now it's like, okay, what happens if it's like not FPS? What happens if somebody enjoys something that isn't mainstream? Like there are people that go from like maybe Madden to 2K. Maybe they go from 2K to Madden. Maybe they go from 2K to Call of Duty. Maybe they go from Call of Duty to 2K. Maybe they go from Call of Duty to, like, I don't know, Battlefield or Fortnite to Call of Duty. Kind of like how Aiden did. Aiden went from Fortnite to Call of Duty. Freaking Nick Merckx was playing Fortnite. He played Call of Duty before that. From COD to Fortnite, then to Warzone, then now he plays Apex. So all of those games, even that Nick Merckx is playing, are still somewhat in like a similar niche. Like everybody's played GTA, everybody's probably played Apex before, but now it's like, why don't you want to play? I don't fucking know. Maybe you only want to play story mode games now. You can't exactly tell your fan base, hey, this is what we're putting out now because this is what I enjoy. They're gonna be like, I'm glad you enjoy it, but I kind of don't want to see you play this shit. And it's up to them because they're spending their time in their life to go watch you. And if they just don't genuinely enjoy it, they're not going to watch it. So it has affected a lot more than just that casual sweat who just wants to just dog on kids. Like it's more than that, or more than that demographic is being affected. So
yeah, I agree. It's definitely a controversial topic in terms of like, because there will be a lot of people who are like, well, if you develop a fan base who cares about you, they'll follow you anywhere. It's like, you're right in a sense, but if...
Oh, you muted your mic. I can't hear you no more. Okay, there we go. I can hear you now.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's look at it from a logistical standpoint, because in a sense, you are a little bit right? Mm-hmm. You're halfway there. But take, let's say, Scump, for example, right? What's he playing right now? He's playing Apex, a first-person shooter, very similar to Warzone. I mean, similar in a sense of it's a battle royale. It's a first-person shooter, right? Mm-hmm. For the most part, there's going to be a lot of people who transition to it because they like watching Scump, right? He still averages 12,000 viewers concurrent, right? Mm-hmm. If Seth hopped in an S&D tourney on Call of Duty, he's probably going to get 60 to 80 concurrent viewers. So even the top dogs like that, right, still have people who will only watch him if he's playing the game that he started playing and grew up playing and developed that fan base playing, because of the fact that, like you said, people have lives. The people who are watching are investing their time into watching this. So the people who don't really have as much going on in their lives are the ones who are watching Seth because they love Seth. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a fine line between like, well, don't use this as an excuse to not make content, or don't use this as a scapegoat, right? There's a very, very thin line of like, okay, it sucks that I don't get to play this game because of that game sucking. You know what I mean? But I know that I could do this game and still have viewers or whatever and build a following in this game like Nick Merckx did, right? He transitioned fully into Apex or whatever game he plays now, and he built his following back up to, I'm sure, similar to what he was peak Warzone, right? But he's fully committing to that. He has no to my knowledge, he has no intention on coming back to Warzone, right? Unless Warzone's godlike again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all have the intention on going back to Call of Duty. So there's no point in fully investing in, like, for example, I liked playing Apex, but there's no shot in hell I'm fully investing in Apex content, you know, in terms of going all in on it and not going back to Call of Duty, because I'm going to buy Call of Duty every fucking year it comes out. It just depends on how long I play Call of Duty because of what the game result is.
Exactly. And I like the fact that you even mentioned Nick Merckx as well, because oh man, there was, I think it was I forgot what event it was, but there was a Warzone event that it was something happened at the airport in Verdansk. I don't exactly remember what the event was, but we could like load into it. I remember Swag was streaming it. It was pulling like okay, he was pulling like 70, 80K. This is FaZe Swag on Twitch pulling 70, 80K.
Right.
Now, that's Nick Merck's normal average. Like everybody knows like Kai Snap will pull like a breezy 40, 60K. Nick Merckx was pulling 70, 80 on a regular basis playing Warzone. Don't let it be that Warzone event, because that Warzone event, he was pulling 300,000.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen, like, I know there's probably a bigger record, but on Twitch, I've never personally watched somebody that I've like watched previously or watched in the past that's pulled 300K playing Call of Duty.
That's wild, because the only time that I can think of something that big in Call of Duty specifically is, I remember when Seth made his return back to Twitch in Black Ops 4, he had 110,000, but that was because Ninja rated him at the time. I think it was like one of his first streams back. He had 110 concurrent viewers when he was playing an S&D kickoff tournament, I think it was. Don't quote me on it. But in terms of Call of Duty, that was a huge thing because of the fact that, like, that's 100,000 people watching Call of Duty. You know what I mean? So 300,000 is just unheard of in terms of in Call of Duty. That's unreal.
And this is one Warzone event, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know, and he was streaming for a couple hours. I mean, yeah, it dropped off after a while to like maybe like a couple hundred, like maybe like 120K or something. But I want everybody to realize that, right? If you're averaging, like my boy Mike, even me and my boy Mike, we always talk about this, because now that we're older, we can think about the analytics, and I've created content, so I understand. Like I know what Twitch, and in terms of subs, I know what Twitch money looks like. I don't know about ads, because I don't have ads. I'm not at the point where ads need to be necessary. So think about it, right? If you're averaging, let's say 90K on Twitch, playing Warzone, Nick Merckx would have like a breezy 70, maybe like 80K subs or something like that. Now, anybody, I'm not gonna sit here and do the actual math. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do the math, because I got my calculator right here with me. So let's take 80K subs times 5. That's 400K. And at the time, there was a 70-30 split with partners. So Nick Merckx alone was pulling like 280K off of just sub revenue. I'm not even counting the ad revenue is much better than sub revenue. I'm like, think about you going from that with that many viewers. But now sometimes you see Nick Merckx and he's pulling like what? Like, I've seen that times he pulls like 5K.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now. I remember when he first transitioned into Apex, it was like, but it might have been when he was playing a tournament. He had like 50,000, but I don't think it's anywhere near that number now.
Yeah, it's probably, I think it's definitely dropped off since then, but that's for people to understand. Now, somebody may be like, you should be grateful for 5K. Oh, well, obviously, yes, but that is a huge, like, that is a huge change in lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? What you can invest in, what you can buy, your monthly revenue. And as much as somebody may be like, oh, Nick Merckx has enough money, he doesn't care. You'd be an idiot to be like, oh, I'm pulling, what, 500K a month. That's just on Twitch. He posts on YouTube as well. He definitely posts on TikTok. Definitely got paid from TikTok as well. And the ad revenue, which I haven't even counted. He's damn near pulling like 500K a month. Yeah. Oh, brand deals. Oh my, it's so fucking much.
Associated with FaZe Clan, like, yeah.
You're telling me this guy's pulling like damn near $1 million a month, possibly, to now like what? Maybe like still 6 figures, but a lot farther.
Yeah.
than that, you
Definitely
know.
a significant decrease.
Significant, bro. That kind of decrease would like it kind of fucks you up a little. Nobody looks at that
Briefly, yeah.
increase and goes, "Oh, okay, everything's fine." No, 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 nothing's fine. Like everything's like, bro. It's. I remember when my boy Mike was bringing up Destroy. He said he used to always watch Destroy during Warzone 1. He just loved watching that like DBZ trio when it came to tournaments and stuff. So then he's looking at the numbers. Mike is like, man, this guy was pulling like 20K subs. Now he has 2K. 20K to 2K, that's like, bro, that's, and on top of that, before there was a 70-30 split. Now, not only does he go from 20 to 2K, now it's half. Now it's 50-50 split. So think about that change in lifestyle, the change in everything ever since that, because these guys thought we should appeal to casuals. Like that shit just tanked everything, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure it just generates a lot of resentment. You know what I mean? That you can't really express too often. Otherwise, because you still want to get invited to those COD Next events.
Exactly,
and those beta testing events. So I really do feel for those types of creators who are at that level where they, what they say about the game matters.
Oh,
you know
what they say anywhere, it matters a lot, bro. So much.
Yep. Because I know how easy it is and frustrating it is to be frustrated with the game and the developers and how shit it is. But that just comes from, I mean, Hex says it all the time. It comes from passion. Like, we're fucking passionate about this game. We love it to death. You know what I mean? Like, we grew up playing it. It's our favorite thing on earth. We want it to be good. We want it to succeed. And when it doesn't, we're disappointed.
That is facts, man. That is facts, man. It's and like with the both of us, like, yeah, we still create content, but we still have a job like outside of this. You know what I'm saying? We have maybe content is like sort of the secondary, the back burner, but with them, it's like that's everything. They feed their kids, they feed their wife, they fund their kids' college tuitions off of this stuff. So yes, they may seem greedy if they complain, but it's like you gotta understand, like, that's a whole different position that maybe we may not even get the full inclination on. It may be worse if we heard it directly from them than how we're even believing it for it to be. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, man. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with that, man. So a question I did want to ask, in terms of your, I would say anything in the future in terms of collabs, projects, anything content related. Do you have anything planned, like anything in the background that you've been working on that you kind of have an inclination on that you want to share with us?
In terms of collabs and things of that sort, I don't have anything necessarily planned. It kind of just will come when the game comes out. I'll start not marketing myself, but just you know how it is, like the space, you all post clips on Twitter and you're all talking about the same game and you're talking about the same game mode and whatever you're playing, everyone's playing it. So it's almost like, it's like high school in a sense where like everyone kind of like not knows everybody, but like has heard or seen each other because of the same niche that we're all in the same field. We all make content on this game that we all love, and we all have very similar beliefs in ideals in terms of the game, right? But I do think the one thing that I am looking to do is hire an editor that has my editing style or the vision, because I have the vision of how I want my videos to be in terms of what videos I make and how I want those edited. It's very hard finding an editor that can replicate what's in here, right? Because
it's so hard.
You can give them a script, and I've tried multiple times, and I've had decent editors before, but it's still not. I'm a perfectionist, and if I think that I can make the video, what's up here, if I think I can make that better than what the other guy did, not saying that guy didn't do a good job, but if I think that I can do, then I'm not going to pay him the next time around. I'm just going to, suck it up and do it. But it does take a lot of my time that I could be using to make the content. So it definitely would be an investment, but it's just a lot of things that go into it, man. Like, for example, like the trolley content that I'm going to get back into when Warzone does come out, and it's all about comedic timing, and it's all about animations. And like a good example I like to use is we have very, very similar content. We have very similar content in terms of like what I like making and what he makes currently. The only difference is he uses a voice troll or a voice changer.
Voice changer, yeah.
Yep, and he also has an editor. And it's Slater is his name. And
Yeah.
he has blown up within these last like year or so, and all credit to him. That type of content is fucking hilarious because it's just never ending. Like as long as you have teammates who have a mic, it's endless content because for that whole game, like let's say you play a whole game, right? You could get realistically 15 TikToks alone from one game of Warzone. If you play it out and you have teammates with good mics or, any sort of like mic that you can get a reaction out of, you could get 15 TikToks alone just from bullshitting and trolling and doing all this shit that's comedic, right? So that is definitely one thing that I am looking to do is get an editor that fits what's up here because I know what I want to do. It's the same sort of comedic timing and style as what Slater's editor does, but I don't have the time to not only make multiple videos a day, but it's hard to even make one a day when I want the videos to be a certain time limit and have a certain quality to it when that does take up a good chunk of the day, especially if you're not a pro with Premiere Pro. But finding that is definitely, or finding an editor that fits that role is definitely going to be a process. But definitely looking to do it.
Because I'm even at the point where it's like there's obviously so much shit performed that needs to be, at least for me, a source of income outside of content in order to put further into content. But on top of that, there's also streaming. There's also anything Team Havoc Studios related, whether it's whether it's making team content or the shooting podcasts like this. Because everything when it comes to podcasts is everything me. I do the recording, the saving, the sending out, the posting, the editing, all that stuff. And then we have team videos. Essentially, we have interns on board. So college interns, we offer them either experience or college credit for them working with us. So with that, it's either they edit the video and then send it to us. But even then, still, there's still the thumbnail, there's still the titling, the scheduling. Like, even if they make the short form content for us, there's still the posting, the scheduling. So it's like I do that as well as for my own content. But then it's like I'm telling myself, I need, if I have an editor, this would be so much better. But the thing is going from editor to editor to editor to editor. Well, not only this is kind of a headache, but it's sometimes you're watching the video and you kind of picture the video to turn out a certain way. I wanted him to pick up on that one moment in the video, and I wanted him to expand on that. Let's say he said something crazy or off the wall, thinking, if I edited this, I would add a repeat of him saying that, and then it's slowed down, and then the screen goes black and white, and then he says it again, and then I had 5 memes or a couple memes after that, just to really expand on what he just said. But let's say the person who edited it kind of just skims over, and I'm like, now I have to. It's hard to tell somebody to have the creative insight to expand on that. It's hard to do that when there may be a case where they just don't have it. Right. They just don't have that. Don't see it. Yeah. They just don't see it, and you can't teach that to somebody.
And you could script, I've done in the past where I've scripted exactly how I've wanted it. But even then, that if you're doing that, you might as well just fucking edit the video because the amount of time you spend doing that, it's really the same. Because I've done both, and it all just comes down to a little bit of luck at the end of the day, where you come across an editor who has the same brain as you, has the same creative mindset, the same vision that you have, and guess what? You better hope that you can keep him for however long you can, or her in that sense. I think it does come down to a little bit of luck at the end of the day in marketing and trying to, or having an endless pursuit of trying to find that person.
Yep, it is difficult, man. It is difficult, and I'm even at that same standpoint too. And not even to talk about how much money he's going to be putting into that, in terms of short form videos. And let's say, for example, they may take more time with the video, got to pay them more, and it's a lot that goes into it, man. It's a lot that goes into it. I even work with a few people when it comes to their content. I know I've helped my boy Meduse, my boy 61 Million, improviser. I've even helped them with their videos, and I could tell, like, even with understanding, because sometimes I'm thinking about it, I'm like, when they pay me, I'm like, damn. Like, think about, like, how much would go into it if I had to pay this person. Like, you may accept the money as an editor, but then you're thinking to yourself, if I wanted an editor, I'd have to pay this much for this many videos. But it's only right to compensate them for that amount of time that they've used to work on their video. And sometimes it may be a very great editor who understands that. So, obviously, that's very hard to come by. So, a lot goes into that, man. A lot definitely goes into it.
Whole lot.
For sure, for sure. So, final question I have on the podcast is, who would you want to see on the next episode of the One Shot Podcast? If you have anybody in mind that you're like, this would be a great podcast guest to have on here, who would that be?
Oh man, you say one person?
No, it could be multiple people.
Let's just go with one. There's a friend of mine in the space who is one of the hardest workers that I know, in terms of what he's done and put in over these. Sorry, my cat's going crazy.
You're good.
In terms of these last, I'd say, year and a half, and probably more. I've just known him for that long. His name is Rob. It's I am Rob on Twitter, I think.
Yeah.
He is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen in this space. Has a great mindset. Has, I think, 2 kids, a wife. Moved just recently to a new house, and he has really, really popped off and exploded on YouTube with his long form content. And it's because of the amount of work that he puts in. He is a prime example of what it takes to succeed in this industry. And I think that he's just a very good shout in terms of, like, the amount of work you put in is what you're going to receive. And, you know, whether that's a year's worth of consistency and growth, and he's a big advocate on, if you're not getting views, right, it's probably because your videos need to be better. Right. And to a sense, I completely agree with that. If you're just posting the same sort of content over and over and over and expecting the algorithm to help you out eventually, like, you got to switch it up. You know what I mean? If you're going to the gym every single day and you're doing what you think you need to do and you're not seeing any growth, probably going to need to switch it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a prime example of that. I'm very proud of the kid, but man, he's one of the hardest workers that I've ever met in this space. So I definitely say him if you can get him.
Got you. He makes the there's a Road to Platinum series he does on YouTube. We're talking about the same person, right?
Yep.
I see his tweets all the time. Okay, definitely reach out for sure. Okay. On top of Rob, or I am Rob, do we have any additional guests? You can name as many as you want to.
Ah, man, let's see. I would say there's another teacher who I just met recently. Let me see what his name is on Twitter.
Gotcha.
SiidV2 is his name on Twitter. I think he teaches at a public school. So he just recently hit 100K on YouTube.
Ooh.
I just met him recently through the connection of being a teacher. I don't know him too well, but he seems like a great dude. You could kind of get like an insight of what it's like to be full-time teacher at a public school while also being a content creator, because I know that he does stream. So he makes content and he streams, where I just make content. I haven't really found the time and the need to stream, because it would take a lot more time out of my day than I would just rather put it into content on a game that I enjoy. But I think he does great work. Another guy is captivated. He makes great content. Just a phenomenal guy all around. Very nice individual. These are all guys that they're very genuine people. You know, they I've had nothing but good interactions with them, and yeah, I would definitely shout them.
Okay. You said SiidV2. How do you spell his name?
So it's C and then PREDS and then underscore on Twitter.
Okay, and by C you mean SEE, right? Or
no,
like ocean.
like the letter C.
C.
And then Preds.
Okay, so the letter C, then Preds.
Yep.
Okay, and then TCaptainX, like literally the letter T and then Captain X.
Yep. Let me see if that's how it is. So it's he's a content creator under Zen XEN, and then so it's Zen space TCaptainX. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, say less. Say less. See, that's the exact reason why I asked those questions, because I know somebody's gonna vouch for somebody, and easily I can tell them, hey man, this person said you would be a great guest, blah blah blah
Yep.
blah. And obviously I go into it with a positive bias already, because I'm like, all right, I thought this person was a great guest. They think this person's a great guest. I trust their judgment. I go into it, and that just makes the podcast just 10 times better.
100%. No,
For sure,
I
for
agree.
sure.
I
Yeah,
agree
because
with
there was there's three guys I know. Shout out to Majin J, Craven, and Slimesy. So all three of them. I think I had Slimesy first because he does like the CGI models with Call of Duty content. Like he'll put like a Nicki Minaj skin doing some shit you've never seen before, and you're like, how? Like it's the comments are filled with, when the hell could you do this in Call of Duty? I remember this. So it's like having him on there. I'm like, bro, I gotta have him on there. Then from him, he recommended Craven and Majin. I had Craven on there. Craven recommended Majin again. The next one was Majin. So it's just like that chain of like three people, and it's just like it made the podcast that much better, because the Majin one was 2+ hours. I mean, I was sitting with my feet kicked up. I was just drinking water. We were relaxing. Like, it was like that. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
for sure, man. So, hey, before I end the podcast, because I just realized this with the last podcast I did with Dab. Shout out to Dab. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I guess my question is, what is it that you primarily focus on? I know you do a whole bunch of stuff. I did a little bit of digging in the on the back end, but what is it that you would say that your focus is primarily heading into? I guess you could say the new COD, but what's, I know there's a priority list when people are doing multiple things, whether it's, you know, more so on the business end or the content end or the marketing end, whatever it is. There's always a priority list, right? There's something that, you know, people prioritize above other things. What would you say that how your list goes?
Man, because this, I'll be honest, it kind of changes by the day. Some days, because like I said, I'm in my last year of college. So, like, for example, today, I want to shoot a bunch of content, and I wanted to record some content, possibly boot on my Xbox, maybe get some challenge going, maybe whether it's a challenge for a video, whether it's for my Xbox, or whether it's through like Plutonium or something. I'm like, all right, bet. But then I find out there's like a career event later in the week, and then I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta drive an hour, damn near an hour, 30 minutes, pay for parking to go like register for, because I can only do it like in person, which is pretty stupid. But then it's like, now it's like, sometimes I'll think I have the day planned out, but then it's just like something else will come in, and I'm like, do I have to do it today? Then they're like, today's the last day to do it. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Chalked like, what time did I leave? I left at like noon, came back at like 4, so that's like 4 hours out of my day, and it was hot as hell. Came back, had to shower, then I had an interview before this with an intern that we're possibly going to bring on board to the team to help us create more content. So some days it kind of depends, but I would say my main focus now, that I would say that's just lingering on a daily basis, like no matter what day it is I'm trying to see if I can get like a consistent funnel with content, because I know a lot of people are going to say this. I know it's funny because I've even heard Rob talk about this on his Twitter. Like, now that we're no longer in that like pandemic era of content, you can't just throw up some clips and somebody's excited for it. Which I kind of like the whole storytelling aspect to the content that I put out. Or even now, because I'm part of the creativity program for TikTok, which makes like the
program beta.
Yep. So it's like now it's like the videos now have to be like a minute plus in length. And you have to add something to that video for it to be that long. So now it's like, I enjoy it, but now it's also like, all right, now I'm a little confused, like, with what I'm realistically, like, what's the next video? Like, because sometimes I kind of did like a series at one point. I kind of did like most overpowered weapons. Then I kind of did types of Call of Duty players. Then I did types of Warzone players. And it's like, it's a series, like, continuously. So at this point,
smartest routes.
Yep. So now I'm trying to look for like what's like the next series to go to. Like, that's like my main. I keep thinking about it every single day. Like, what's the next video? What's the next video? What's the next video? Every day. Because I'm like, I don't sleep. Like, sometimes I don't want to sleep because I'm like, I have to think of something. So there's definitely that. And also something that else has been a priority is obviously for Team Havoc Studios, I want as much content out as possible. As much as I possibly can. And now we kind of have like a funnel. We kind of started a walkthrough series with a game called A Way Out. So we're getting short form for that. And also the long forms with the full walkthroughs as well. Just a consistent like flow for content. Like I want like the ideas to just be flowing. Like
Yeah.
I remember Mr. Beast even said this. He says in like he said this in like I heard him say this in like June or something. He said I have videos planned out till December. It
Yeah.
was June.
Yeah.
So I'm trying
Completely
to
booked, yeah.
yeah,
Planned out.
I don't know if I want to get to that extent, but I at least want to be at least like scheduled out for at least like maybe 2 months, like maybe like something that I could do in several parts. So
Yep.
definitely,
And that definitely eliminates anxiety and the stress of like, fuck, what's tomorrow's video gonna be? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
another thing to that is where when you do find that editor, if that's something that you do,
hmm
it's going to eliminate a lot more stress too. Because like I said, like you could play a game and get 7 videos out of one game. So if you played for 4 hours that day on a Sunday, right, you're probably going to get like 20 videos worth of stuff. That's 20 days. You know what I mean? So
hmm
having an editor that sees your vision and knows what you're trying to get across and just someone who meshes with you is going to be so beneficial for anyone really, because of the fact that if you're if your main focus is content creation and being the creator, then all you need is the other half, you know?
yep,
And when you're able, or when you have to put both halves to yourself, then you're eliminating half of your time that you could be, you know.
exactly. So I'm at the point where it's just even then on top of that. So even on top of focusing on all of those things, because there's still like college work. Like right now, there's like a project I should be working on, and sometimes even with things with college, some things overlap. Like there was a representative from a company that came out to a campus, one of our campuses for the university, came out to
Yeah.
speak with us, and I'm here listening to him, and then I sat there and thought, I'm like, I have a class today. I just missed class because there's also an employer that came out to speak with us. But then I'm also like, what do I do? Do I do class? Do I go out to this event? Do I have this one moment in the entire day which I've had to create content? And then it's just like, and also not even just with content, it's also like streaming as well. Like I also want like new additions to the stream. Like one thing with me with streams, I always have freaking like I have confetti can, I have a bunch of sound effects. Like what's next with that? Like what can I add to the background? What can I add to the whole streaming experience to make it even better, to me, even more interesting for the viewers I have, because I feel like there always has to be something new on top of that. Like it's so many things, and sometimes like I work sometimes until I'm like, all right, I have to go to sleep or else I'm gonna be up to like 4 a.m. I just tell myself, all right, we just have to just stop here. So I would say it depends by the day, but I would say my main focus, just because this is the one thing that I think like is my main specialty, even though if my parents are listening to this, which I don't think they will, but my main focus is in college, even though it should be. I just
It's a stretch.
it's kind of just there. It's kind of just there. I do my best. I do the best that I can, but the main thing I feel like I really want to put a lot of effort into is my content. Now, if it gets to the point where it's like I have either it's a form of employment, a job, not even like a full-time career, part-time internship, or anything that pays me to then put in more money or more funding into streaming, maybe working with more editors, having somebody on board to help take the stress off, to where my only focus is just to ideate content, because there's nothing more draining than whenever you take the whole day, you're editing, then you stream for like 4 or 5 hours, and the room's hot. Then after you're done streaming, then your room's hot. Then it's like, all right, now I gotta sit and edit this videos even more, sitting in this hot room, and I'm like, it just doesn't feel like it ends sometimes. It's because it's pretty difficult, man. So
Yeah.
so sort of say,
Especially if you want to balance like life in general. Like you have to consider like a lot of these people, you know, who make content, they're not full-time content creators. So it's like the hardest part, but it's a part of the process and everyone
yeah.
has to do it.
Mhm.
But for the most part, you're going to a 9 to 5 or a 7 to 3, you know what I mean? It's like, so you're going to this job, right? And then let's say you're into fitness too and you want to stay healthy. Then you're going to the gym, right? And then you're coming home and cooking supper or whatever you eat after the gym, right?
Mhm.
And then if you have a spouse or kids or you know any sort of chore that you got to do at home, then you kind of knock out all of that, and then once you have free time or whatever, then you make content or you hop in the game first and to get the content. Then you get the content, which might take an hour or two, right? Then you get off the game and then you go into Premiere Pro or whatever editing software you use, and then you edit the videos, which takes another hour or however long it takes you to edit. By that time, it's 10 o'clock already, dog. It's time to go to bed because you got work in the
Mm-hmm.
morning to do it all again. And
Mm-hmm.
that's if you get to every single one of those things. And
Yep.
and so finding that balance is something that I still struggle to do to this day, because if a game is good, I'm playing it. You know what I mean? So a lot of days, what I'll do is, if the game is good, then I'll play that the whole day, or after, the gym and whatnot, and play that the whole night. And then the next day, then I got to edit 2 videos to get ahead just one day, and then play, so there'll be a lot of times where I just have so much content in my hard drive that I'm like, fuck, like, which one am I going to start with?
Bro, I got like 6 YouTube videos unedited. I got like 6 YouTube videos just sitting, bro.
It's unreal. So, I mean, I think that's the goal, is just to find the perfect balance of how to do every single thing that you want to do in this weird life. But
And I don't know if necessarily I'm wrong for saying this, but I feel like it will change every now and again. Like there may be a point where we're more content focused. I remember even it was what's his name? I can't think of his name. I can only think of his first name for some reason. Slacked. What's his name?
Yeah,
Like
Jerry?
Austin. No, Austin. What's his name? Like Austin Liticote or something. He was on. Slasher. I don't know why I said slacked. I'm tripping. Slasher.
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
Slacked is just, is it Josiah? They call him Jerry. I don't know his last
Okay, yeah, he was the XCOM player.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So Slasher, I remember I was watching a video of I think this was when he was on the LA Gorillas. I think it was before. So I remember he was even saying like, he had an engineering major in college, and he was even saying like, I think somebody had asked how he balances it, and he was like, I didn't balance it. It was sometimes I'd be 100% school, and I'd be kind of playing like shit, but then some days it'd be like, hey, you're supposed to study and do this session, but oh, there's a test. Oh shit, I'm in Cali. I'm playing a COD tournament.
Right.
And it's like it's like a back and forth thing. Like sometimes it's COD focused, sometimes it's content focused, sometimes it's just back and forth. Like sometimes you're worrying about this, sometimes you're worrying about that. I feel like it goes in waves, but as much as I possibly can, even though it may be an unrealistic goal, as much as I can to try and get a piece of everything done every single day. So I honestly say shit, that above content, that might be the main goal of everything. Get a piece of everything done every single day.
Right,
But
just at least hit every single part of it.
every single part of it, man. That's I definitely say that's my main focus right now. So, any other questions at all?
I can't think of it. Yeah. What would you say that you're? Let's talk about Call of Duty back again.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
What would you say that you are most? I don't want to say excited, because I don't like getting my hopes up, but with all the leaks coming out, and slide canceling back, and 16 original maps, and red dots back, what would you say that you are most highly anticipating in this next Call of Duty?
Man, this is gonna sound so sad to say, but I just want this game to be, as much as they can, playable upon launch. Now, it's very hard now in terms of like making content, because I have so many, like my boy Manny, for example. He loves sweating, like he loves like that competitive aspect when it comes to Call of Duty, and I like it too. But holy shit, I hate this game. So it's like I'm at this point to where it's like I just want a game, like it doesn't even need to be like the greatest. I'll be very honest, it doesn't even need to be the greatest Call of Duty I've ever played. It really doesn't.
Playable.
It just needs to be just fucking playable. And the funny they took out so much that made that game somewhat decent. I just want this game to not only be functioning. All right, please don't blow up my graphics card. I have a 3060. It's not the greatest, but it runs pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my PC to blow up. It's an expensive PC. There's a lot of shit on this PC. Yep. So, because it's funny, because sidetrack, crazy story. I have a boy named Meduse. Shout out my boy Meduse. He literally lives near a Raven Software headquarters, and he was so pissed that he drove up there with his PC because he got banned, permabanned, but he's not hacking. Swear to you, he's not hacking at all. So, as long as I'm not having to catch any plane tickets to go to your guys' headquarters because this game is this bad, I just want this game to be functioning. playable to the point where I can make content. And then I just want there to be just some form of a skill gap. Because it's very depressing when I die and I'm like, I look at the kill cam and he's just crouched, no IQ. I'm like, and his shots aren't even that good. Right. He just hits like two. Like I've been one shotted by a vast with full health. I'm like, what are we even playing, bro? Like,
it's not real.
If we can just get that, man, I wouldn't even mind a game that's like on par with like Modern Warfare 2019 to where it's not too. Yeah. I just want that, man. I mean, my expectations are very low. I want them to be higher. They're just very low. I just want it to be playable. I know there's red dots. I know there's 16 original maps. Respectfully, I know everybody's excited, but if the two things I mentioned aren't there, I don't give a fuck. I just want it to be functioning, a little bit of a skill gap to where I can outplay somebody, and then we can go on from there with the other features. So.
It's hard to get your hopes up nowadays because you do it every year and then you just get let down. And it's almost like a toxic ex. You know what I mean? They won't leave you alone, and you can't ever. I don't know. You can't ever stray away from it because they always draw you back in.
And what they said for that new Resurgence map, I was like,
yeah, it's just that shit's horrible.
I'm like,
I don't get it. It just shows how lazy they are.
Like, is this a joke? Like, is this a joke? Not only do I hate this map for ranked play, but you made it a Resurgence map, and then on top of that, it's not even actually a Resurgence map. I'm like, bro, this is badness, bro. Like, this is actually crazy. I'm like, I don't know. I just want the game to work at this point. I just wanted to not blow up my GPU, so we can get there, then I'll worry about everything else. But yeah, for sure. Anything else? Anything else you may have any concerns about? Any lingering questions? Anything at all?
I don't think so. I appreciate you having me on. This was my first ever podcast, and I really enjoyed it. I know I didn't watch all of your old podcasts, but I did peep a little bit. And dude, I think you're a great podcast host. I'm not gonna lie. You are very comfortable in front of the mic. You are very engaging. You know when to switch topics. You know when to bounce off of topics. You know when to cut it off. You're doing great, man. I appreciate you having me on.
I don't think you understand how much that means, man. Because I'm nervous when I do these podcasts. I don't think people understand.
Normal, man. That's normal.
You know,
especially because it's someone we've never met before face to face. I know we talked online a little bit, but it's different. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be those jitters and those nervousness feelings that go on before and maybe even during. But you can tell that once you get into the flow of things, you definitely know what you're doing. So.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you for that, man. Thank you. Because I'm telling you, man, like, there's no real way to know if I'm doing good, I guess. Like, there's no gauge in my head. I'm kind of just going through, like, okay, this episode and this episode. But sometimes I'm like, am I even doing this right? Like, I don't know if I'm doing this really right. But I'm trying my absolute best. Because I'm like, if I almost put it in my perspective. Like, how would I like it if I was to be in your position? So
100%, and that's definitely, I think, the way to do it. That's one of the ways that I would continue to do if I were you. Is just, what would you want to see as a consumer, and not only that, just being a student of the game. I mean, that comes with everything. You watch podcasts, like what's the most successful podcast in the world? It's Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? And all he does is sit down with some of the smartest and unique people in the world. He just chops it up. It's not over edited. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Like, it's just, are you interesting? Are you talking about interesting topics? Are you sitting there? That's crazy, man. Yeah, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's this meme of, damn, we should start a podcast. And it's like, yeah, bro. Like, we should start one, man. Like, we're so, like, there's no friend group in the world who's like us, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, you definitely know the route that you're supposed to take, and you're definitely on it.
For sure, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. And also, this was an amazing episode for me as well. Just like, for anybody not knowing, I kind of prefaced this a little bit. We were talking about anime for like 15 minutes, just randomly. I just hopped in here and just
chopping it up. You know what I mean?
We were just chopping it up, and those lead to like the best podcast I ever had. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, I try to have it as much as a conversation between two people as much as I possibly can.
Absolutely.
You know, so for sure, man. So to everybody listening and tuning in, I thank you guys for listening, and I thank you guys for watching. up to this point with my boy Sid. Now, Sid, where can they find you? They can find you on Twitter. I know Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Your socials on all of those is... Go ahead.
It's just at SiidV2 with 2 eyes. Yep. So it's every platform for the most part: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Every single platform is at SiidV2 with 2 eyes. So SiidV2, and that's where you can find me, man.
SiidV2. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even ask, where exactly did that name come from?
So it's weird because like it was originally VSid, and then I don't remember if it was just a straight up name switch or if it was my brother took my account or my email and like because he needed to play or something along those lines where I just switched names and I was like, well, fuck, what am I gonna do? Because I still like the name Sid, right? And I just did at the time. I think it was during Black Ops 4. Formal had like this little thing that he was doing where throughout the progression of the game, he would say version 1 or version, and he was referring to like his form, right? And version 10 would be final form of like how good he is at that game, right?
That's fire.
And so I just did V2 because it's the version 2 of VSid. So I never changed it since. So
that's fire. Hey, that's fire. Not a low key is tough. Like it's like V1, and it's like let's say
right. It's the better version of that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, I don't know. It's just what I stuck with ever since then. So.
And that is fire. That's fire. See, that's why I had to ask the question. I usually ask that question, but for some reason,
questions are always great because you always want to know where the gamer tag spawned from and originally came from. So I haven't had it for long. I've had it since I've made content, but fuck, I don't know my original ones back in the day. You know what I mean? They were probably some crazy shit. You know?
Yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. Hey, just like everybody else, we've had some crazy names. Rest in peace to those names, because those names probably should never ever come back under any circumstance. But like I said, man, make sure you guys check out my boy Sid. That is SiidV2 on all platforms. Make sure you go check him out. And at one point, if Modern Warfare 3 is good enough, we might see some streams.
We definitely might. We definitely might have to make some content, troll some kids online. You know what I mean? The whole 9 yards. I can't wait for the game to come out. So
we're gonna see live action, live interface. You get to see it behind the scenes of him making the videos. You're like, man, I was there in that stream when that happened. You never know. You might get that kind of access. You feel me? So, like I said, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys also check out Team Havoc Studios on all of our platforms. We're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Also, check out our website as well, teamhavocstudios.com. Like I had mentioned, make sure you guys head on over to tryhavocenergy.com. Check out the new flavor we just released. Personally, I would say it's the best flavor we have, but that's just my opinion. Check it out over there as well. Code CBB25 for 25% off. And I think that's just about it. That wraps up everything. Any final words for anybody listening to this episode, Mr. Sid?
What's that? What'd you say? Sorry.
I was saying you're good. Any final words for anybody who's listening?
No, man, just continue to watch this podcast. I know that you're doing good things with this. You're a very hard worker, and eventually that hard work is gonna pay out, man. I know you're in college right now, and it's hard to balance all these things, but I'm a very firm believer in whatever you put in, you're gonna get out. So as long as you keep doing your thing, man, you're gonna really succeed in this space.
For sure, man. That applies to anybody else as well.
Absolutely.
The effort you put into it, more than likely, may not be initial, but through time and consistency, that effort will be matched in your output as well.
Absolutely. For
sure, man. So, hey, some motivation right there to wrap it up. But I'll catch everybody on the very next episode of the one. Oh, holy fuck. I don't know the name of my own podcast. Oh, God.
You can edit that out. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm going to edit that out. Make sure I edit that out. So, that wraps up this episode of the One Shot Podcast. I'll catch everybody in the next episode. We're out of here. Peace.